Somebody once said that the best laid plans of mice and men can sometimes go astray, and such is the case this week on Mastodon Spotlight. To see what we're talking about, please stay tuned. Again, our show is called Mastodon Spotlight, and it's coming up next right here on College 56 Sports. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Maz. Welcome to another edition of Mastodon Spotlight, brought to you in part by our very good friends over at Ryan's Steakhouse. David Kennedy and his staff, happy to be supporting IPFW athletics. They're located on North Clinton Street, across from Scott's Foods. Well, as I said a few moments ago, somebody once said that the best laid plans of mice and men can sometimes go astray. My English is poor, I apologize. We had mentioned last week that we were hoping to have the head baseball coach here at IPFW, Billy Gernon, with us this week to talk about the final 5 games of the season and, in fact, the entire season, the good, the bad, the ugly, and so forth. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make connections with Billy, but we're going to plod on, and we will start our show this week by talking about the final week of the 2004 IPFW baseball season. The teams did not play at all during the week of final exams, so they could get the academic side out of the way. But they did finish up after finals with a trip to Ohio and also a little stopover in Indianapolis as well. A week ago last Tuesday, once finals were done, the baseball team traveled to Dayton, Ohio, where they took on the Raiders of Wright State University, members of the Horizon League. And good news to report from that Tuesday night game. The Mastodons spotted Wright State 2 runs in the first inning, but they came back and scored single runs in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th innings, scored twice in the 6th, and added 5 more runs in the 7th inning to walk away with a 10-5 victory over Wright State. 10 runs, 16 hits, and 1 error for IPFW, 5-11-3 for Wright State. Offensively, the star of the game, shortstop Ryan Steinbach. Ryan was 5 for 6, scored twice, and knocked in 3 runs. And he was the big gun. Brett Allwine, second baseman, he had a hit, scored a run, and knocked in 3 runs. Caleb Smith, the first baseman, went 2 for 4 and scored a run. And catcher Matt Hagedorn went 3 for 5 and scored 2 runs. That was the head of the offensive attack. Pitching-wise, Casey Rohan pitched 7 strong innings. He just allowed 2 runs on 7 hits, walked 1, struck out 2, as he raised his record to 5-5. Again, the final score from Wright State was IPFW 10 and Wright State 5. Then the next day, the team traveled from Dayton to Indianapolis, where they had a chance to play Butler University, the Bulldogs, also from the Horizon League. Key element in this game is not exactly playing Butler, but where the game was played. These 2 teams played at Victory Field, and those of you who may not be familiar with Victory Field, it is the home park of the Indianapolis Indians, the AAA affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, and it has been called by some the best minor league baseball park in America. It's a beautiful facility, seats 15,000, even has a mound area in the outfield where you can sit without having to sit in the seats, but great venue for baseball. And that was the good news. The bad news is that the Mastodons dropped an 8-5 decision as Butler scored twice in the first, 3 times in the second. IPFW scored once in the second, 4 times in the third to tie the game at 5, but Butler came back with a run in the third and then tacked on 2 more runs in the 7th. Final score, Butler 8, IPFW 5. Offensively, Ryan Keena, Brandon Armstrong, and Tyler Fowler each had 2 hits. Ryan Steinbach went 3 for 4 and scored a run. But even though they knocked out 12 hits and scored 5 runs, it wasn't enough. Mastodons fall 8-5. Jason Horvath suffered the loss. He pitched 5 innings, gave up 6 runs on 10 hits, walked 1, struck out 2, and his record dropped to 4 wins and 9 defeats. Again, final score from Victory Field in Indianapolis was Butler University 8 and IPFW 5. Then the team traveled to Athens, Ohio for a 3-game series to finish out the season with the Bobcats of Ohio University, members of the Mid-American Conference. They were scheduled to play single games on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Friday, they got the game in as scheduled, and Ohio University came with the whooping sticks. Bobcats scored 9 runs on 14 hits in defeating IPFW 9-2. Mastodons only able to collect 5 base hits. Ryan Keena went 2 for 4 and scored a run. Brett Allwine, Zach Walton, and Dustin Freeman collecting 1 hit apiece. Eric Lambert, the hard luck pitcher, one of the hard luck pitchers this year for IPFW, suffered the loss. He failed to get out of the 3rd inning, and he drops to 1-5. Again, game 1 on Friday, final score Ohio 9, IPFW 2. Saturday's game was postponed due to rain, so that meant the 2 teams were going to close out the season by playing a doubleheader on Sunday. And in game 1, doubleheader becomes 2 7-inning games as opposed to a 9-inning game. And game 1, a very tough luck extra inning, 8-inning loss, 1-0. Mastodons could only come out with 5 base hits. They did boot the ball twice, and one of those errors proved to be very costly. Jason Horvath deserved a better fate in his final performance for IPFW. Jason pitched the first 7 innings, shutting out Ohio University on 4 hits, walked 3, struck out 3, but unfortunately he comes away with a no decision. The final run, the only run of the ball game, took place in the bottom of the 8th inning for Ohio University. There was an error that runner reached base to begin the inning. After a ground out, the batter moved to second base, and then the fun really started. With the runner on second and 1 out, there was a wild pitch which advanced the runner to third base. And in a scoreless game in extra innings, that could mean trouble. And Coach Gernon ordered pitcher David Zachary to walk the next 2 batters intentionally in hopes of setting up either a force play or a double play. So with the bases loaded and 1 out, lo and behold, the ball game ends with the next batter being hit by a pitch, which forced in the game's only and winning run from third base. Again, a very tough luck loss in game 1 on Sunday. Ohio University 1, IPFW 0. And that led to the final game of the season, second game with a doubleheader. And in that game, Mastodons only able to scratch out 4 base hits as they dropped a 6-0 decision to Ohio University. The base hits, 1 apiece for Ryan Keena, Ryan Steinbach, Brett Allwine, and Nate Beals. Casey Rohan pitched 3 innings, dropped his 6th game. He finishes up 5-6. Again, the final score in game 2 was Ohio 6 and IPFW 0. So the team finishes with an overall mark of 20 wins and 31 defeats, 2 games better than last year's 18-33 mark. Real briefly now, final statistical leaders for IPFW. Batting average, Ryan Steinbach, 359. Runs scored goes to Dustin Freeman with 30. Base hits goes to Ryan Steinbach with 60. There was a tie with doubles between Brett Allwine and Matt Hagedorn, 9 doubles apiece. 5-way tie at triples with 1 apiece. Home runs, Tyler Fowler and Brandon Armstrong, 4 home runs apiece. Runs batted in, that honor goes to Ryan Steinbach with 28. Total bases also goes to Ryan Steinbach with 69. And stolen bases, 2-way tie between Dustin Freeman and Ryan Keena, 17 stolen bases apiece. Pitching-wise, wins, Casey Rohan, David Zachary, 5 wins apiece. Strikeout title goes to Jason Horvath with 71. Again, overall, 20 wins, 31 losses for IPFW baseball. Well, that's it for the review segment. We're going to take a break and then come back with news and notes. But news and notes will come when Mastodon Spotlight returns in just a moment. Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. Well, the athletic year, as the academic year, is now over here at IPFW, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing going on within the hallowed halls of the athletic department. What we want to do now is bring you up to date on what we call news and notes, and we're going to start with men's basketball. Head coach Doug Knoll has announced a couple of signees. First and foremost, coming to IPFW in the fall will be Quentin Butler. Butler is from Greenwood, South Carolina. He averaged 22 points and 14 rebounds. He is the 2002 Mr. Basketball from the state of South Carolina. And he is 6 feet 7 inches tall, 210 pounds. He played forward, and he's coming to IPFW from Wabash Valley Junior College in Illinois, where he averaged just about 10 points and 9 rebounds a game. And also shot well from the floor, hitting 57% of his field goal attempts. So 6 foot 7 inch, 210 pound Quentin Butler coming to IPFW, as is 6 foot guard Ryan Baumgartner from Muncie Southside High School, just down the road. Baumgartner led Muncie South to the 2002 state championship in boys basketball, and he played for his father, Rick Baumgartner, at Muncie South. He played at Miami of Ohio for a year, then transferred to Schoolcraft Community College up near my old stomping grounds in Livonia, Michigan. And he is going to be coming here at IPFW. And he hit last year at Schoolcraft, hit over 45% of his three-point shots. And he averaged 17 points a game, knocked down 93 three-point shots. So Rick Baumgartner as well as Quentin Butler coming to IPFW, as is David Tolafree. Tolafree is a 6 foot 2 inch transfer from Lakeland Community College, and he also is a guard. He had 89 three-point field goals last year. Also shot 60% from the floor overall. His assist-to-turnover ratio was 3-to-1. He is from Kenosha, Wisconsin. So he is a third recruit that is coming to IPFW. Two other quick footnotes. Brandon Jennings and Tyler Clevenger will be departing IPFW to attend school elsewhere. Now, one more note, and it's a big note with men's basketball. Earlier this week, it was announced that David Simon, the independent first team player of the year nominee, has made himself eligible for the National Basketball Association draft, even though he's a junior. It's possible to do so. And Simon, again, averaged 18 points and nearly 10 rebounds and 2 blocks a game. A little bit of a surprise. He had a chance to meet with us and talk about the decision to apply for the NBA early entry. So here is a talk we had with David Simon. David Simon, big announcement.
Yeah. I've decided, make myself eligible for this year's NBA draft, foregoing my senior year next year. So.
What were some of the factors that led into this initial decision?
I was just discussing it with my family and my coaches and seeing where I was at and, feeling that, I was ready and able to play at the next level.
And how do you feel about that?
I agree with him. I think I'm ready. I feel like I'm, the best shape I've ever been in. watching those guys, seeing, some of the things they do, I feel I can do some of the same stuff. So
Last year here at IPFW, you averaged 18 points and nearly 10 boards and 2 blocks a game. Do you feel you can put those kind of numbers up given playing time in the NBA?
I like to think so. I haven't been there, so I can't, say for sure. But I can speculate, and I feel confident in my abilities to, perform at that same level.
Obviously, you talked to the coaches, and obviously they had some input with NBA, maybe coaches and scouts and what have you. What is the overall feeling as to what they feel your strengths and your weaknesses are at this point in time?
I'm not, too sure as to what, other people think, but, obviously my size, my athletic ability, things like that, I'm sure they, take into account. But like I said, I wouldn't even be able to tell.
What do you feel are your strengths and weaknesses right now?
Like I said, my size and, my athletic ability, like I said, some of my weaknesses, those guys are pretty big, so, I might want to get a little bigger, a little stronger, but, just improving my outside game and, all the things that, they have at the next level that I might not, be an expert on right now.
At this point in time, as we're taping this, you have not hired an agent, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So there still is the possibility that you may take yourself off the list by June 17th.
Yeah, by not signing, I left the option open to come back to school next year if that's the decision we make, later on down the road.
Here at IPFW, being 6'10", you played the 5 position or the center position. Do you see yourself playing more of maybe a power forward or the 4 position in the pros, or do you feel if you put on the added weight that you mentioned that a 5 would be more natural for you?
I definitely probably wouldn't play the 5, at the next level. More of a power forward position, but, it's not that much of a stretch from where I'm at this year. Just, adding a little outside game, I feel like I, have it. I just didn't showcase it as much because, like you said, I did play the 5 here, but I don't think it's that much of a stretch difference playing, the 5 and the 4.
Defensively, do you feel you can play in the next level, on the defensive level?
I think so. Like I said, I didn't get a chance, to showcase, the outside defensive skills because, like you said, I played the center position here, and not too many centers went out there. But, when I did have to guard smaller guys, I feel like, I did all right. Granted, players in the NBA aren't going to be like the ones we were playing here. But, like I said, I feel like, I'm in a position where I'm ready and, I can definitely compete at that next level.
You mentioned you talked with your family, you talked with the coaches. Have you talked with your IPFW teammates about this decision?
I did. We had a meeting last month sometime after the decision was made and everything was made final, and I let them know my plans, and they support me. Wish me the best of luck. And so I hope they're happy for me. They told me they were. So.
If you were a betting man, and that'll get us all into trouble, if you were a betting man, what kind of odds realistically would you have right now as to go through with this all the way through the draft or to reconsider and maybe pull out?
Well, right now the plan is to go all the way through, but if I was a betting man, I'd probably be a smart bettor and make sure I knew everything that was going on before I made my bet. So, I have to wait and see till I get all the pieces for, I want to speculate anything. So,
good luck, whatever the way you decide to go.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Well, that was our conversation with David Simon, and I know from a personal standpoint, I hope David stays. I'm a little selfish that I'd like to see him finish not only his playing career but his academic studies here at IPFW. David, pre-chemistry major, I believe, and he's averaging somewhere in the area of 3.7 to 3.8. out of a 4-point scale. But whichever way it goes, we wish David the best, whether he goes on and tries to make an NBA team and be drafted, or whether he comes back here for his final season. Well, that's men's basketball. Few other notes before we say goodbye. Women's basketball, head coach Bruce Patterson announced the signing of a couple of players. First one, Sarah Glowacki, and I hope I pronounced that correctly. She's a 5'7" point guard from Freeland, Michigan, up in the Tri-Cities area. And she was the player of the year by the Midland News last year. She averaged 17 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists a game. She also made second-team All-State via the Detroit News' selections. Also coming to IPFW is Lindsay Bayer. Lindsay is a 5'10" forward from Norfolk Catholic High School in Nebraska. She averaged 16 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists her senior season there, and she was also an All-State selection. So 2 new signings for women's basketball. Men's tennis, Eric Burns signed 1 new player for next year, a local player. It is Tony Midson from Carroll High School, who is currently ranked number 126 in the boys 18 and under singles division of the USTA Midwest section. He's been ranked as high as number 2 in the Northern Indiana district. So Tony Midson from Carroll High School coming here to play men's tennis. Also, 2 women signed up to play tennis at IPFW. Ashley Colson is from San Diego, California. She's ranked 63rd in the 18 and under singles in the USTA Southern California section. And also Hannah Hager from Wapakoneta, Ohio. Say that real fast 3 times. Hannah is ranked number 90 in 18 and under singles in the Midwest and number 3 in the Northwest Ohio district. And again, she's coming here from Wapakoneta, Ohio. And she also is going to be a recipient of the Chancellor's Merit Scholarship. And we've talked about that in the past, so congratulations to Hannah Hager and Ashley Colson for coming here to play women's tennis. One other note for women's tennis, freshman Lisa Bartleheim from Northrop High School was selected Division I All-Independent First Team. And congratulations. She had an overall record in singles of 15 and 10. She also made first team doubles with Beth Miller, and the number 2 doubles team of, Beth Miller made singles, and in doubles it was Beth Miller and Jessica Vervinkt that were first team in doubles. So congratulations to those women. And that leaves us with one final piece of news, and that comes from Coach Arnie Ball's IPFW Volleyball program. And it was announced earlier this week that junior Dennis Santiago, 3-year setter from Bayamon, Puerto Rico, will not be returning to IPFW for his final season. Instead, he is going to turn professional and play professionally in Puerto Rico. The season just completed, Dennis averaged over 11.5 assists per match, and he also was part of the team that led the MIVA in blocking, and he also averaged nearly 2 digs per game as well. So we wish Dennis Santiago the best of luck playing professionally in Puerto Rico, and we will miss him here at IPFW. Well, that's about it from news and notes, and that's just about it for the program this week. We want to let you know that next week, Memorial Day week, we're going to have a special 1-hour program. Part of the program is going to include a highlight package that we prepared for the athletic banquet that took place a couple of weeks ago. And if things work out, and it's that proverbial if things work out, we also hope to have a conversation with Athletic Director Mark Pope. But that'll be on next week's show. Again, a special 1-hour edition of Mastodon Spotlight for the week of Memorial Day. After that, real briefly, the month of June rather, we're going to be putting together some best of shows, some of the best interviews we've had, and also a final goodbye to some of our departing seniors, but that'll be coming up in the month of June. Again, that's it for this week's edition of Mastodon Spotlight. As always, we thank you for tuning in to see what's going on with IPFW Athletics, and we invite you to come back again next week for our special 1-hour edition. But until next week, for our proud sponsors, Ryan's Steakhouse, again located on North Clinton Street across from Scott's Foods. Say hi to Dave Kennedy and his staff. For Ryan's and for everyone here at Channel 56, this is Mike Maz saying have a great week and go Dons. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Maz. Welcome to another edition of Mastodon Spotlight, brought to you in part by our very good friends over at Ryan Steakhouse, located on North Clinton Street, over across from Scott's Foods. Stop in, say hi to David Kennedy and his staff, and thank Dave for supporting IPFW athletics here on Channel 56. Well, first item up on the agenda this week, an apology. At the end of last week's show, I mentioned that this was going to be our Memorial Day special this week, a 1-hour special, and dummy me, I didn't have my calendar with me, and I had my dates incorrect in my mind, so I apologize. The 1-hour special will be next week, and we'll talk more about that later near the end of the program. On this week's program, we're going to discuss some news and notes, take a break, and then we're going to start replaying some of our interviews that we've had this year that we really enjoyed. And this week, we'll be talking with Loy Ball, son of volleyball coach Arnie Ball, but we'll talk more about that in a few moments. First and foremost, news and notes. Even though school is out, the coaches are still hard at work on the recruiting trail, and we've got some signings to talk about. We'll start with women's softball. Head coach Keith Fisher announced earlier that Natalie Clark is going to be coming to IPFW to play softball. Natalie is a pitcher and utility player who is about to graduate from Franklin Central High School near Indianapolis. And this past season, heading into sectional play, she led Franklin Central to a record of 18-12 heading into tournament play. On the pitching rubber, in 2003 as a junior, she had an earned run average of 0.97. And this year, her senior year, her ERA heading into tournament play is 1.56. According to her head coach, she's got some speed, she's got some savvy, and because she also plays the outfield as well as pitches. And Coach Fisher looking forward to Natalie Clark coming in next year to play softball for IPFW. Now, from the softball diamond, let's head to the volleyball court. Men's volleyball in particular, head coach Arnie Ball has announced 2 new signees that are going to come into Fort Wayne this fall to attend school and play volleyball for IPFW. They are Dan McInerney, if I pronounced that correctly, and Brock Ulrich, and if I mispronounced it, I'm sorry. McInerney is a 6-foot, 5.5-inch outside hitter from Wilmington, Delaware. Last year, as a junior, he was named Delaware Player of the Year by the Delaware Volleyball Coaches Association and by the News Journal, which I believe is a publication there in Delaware. That award is recognized as the best all-around volleyball player in the state of Delaware, and it's the first time that that award was ever given to a junior. This year, he and his team, again, are successful. Heading into their state tournament, they are 15-1 overall, and they are the 2-time defending state champions. And Dan has had nearly a number of triple-doubles this year. He's averaging more than 10 kills and 10 assists per match, and in one particular match, he had 14 aces. Ulrich is a 6'6" outside hitter from Winfield, Illinois, which I believe is outside of Chicago. He is going to graduate from Wheaton North High School in June, and heading into their playoffs, he's leading his team with a 19-5 record. And Ulrich also plays for Sports Performance Volleyball Club out of West Chicago. So 2 rather tall players coming to town to play volleyball for Coach Arnie Ball. And then finally, before we go to break, we want to commend the entire athletic department in terms of student athletes, the teams, for doing the job in the classroom. It was just released that this spring semester just completed. The student athletes that participate here at IPFW had an overall grade point average of 3.07 out of a 4-point scale. And the athletic department goal, as athletic director Mark Pope has mentioned on numerous occasions, and we hope to talk to him about it next week some more, has been 3.0. First semester they were 2.95. This semester they were 3.07. And that's an overall record grade point for the year of 3.01. There were 21 student athletes that had a perfect 4.0 grade point here in the second semester. And Tops on the list on the women's side was cross country with a team GPA of 3.65. And tops academically on the men's side was the men's tennis team. They finished with a grade point average of 3.27. And out of the 200 student athletes here at IPFW, 105 out of the 200 posted grade points between 3.0 and 4.0. Again, student athletes are being commended for doing the job in the classroom as well as on the athletic front. And again, we commend them. A nice 3.07 in the second semester and a year grade point average of 3.01. As we said, we hope to talk more with Athletic Director Mark Pope next week about this. Well, that's news and notes. Time for a break. When we come back, we're going to replay an interview we had a few weeks ago with former IPFW standout on the volleyball court and current U.S. Olympic team captain, Loy Ball. That interview will come when Mastodon Spotlight returns in just a moment. Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. Last week we had a chance to visit with a Hall of Fame coach. This week we're also blessed to have a special guest with us, the greatest volleyball player IPFW has ever produced. And we're happy to, and really appreciative to have Loy Ball with us. Loy, welcome to Mastodon Spotlight. Welcome back to campus.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be here.
As I mentioned to you before we started taping, first time you and I met, I remember, you probably don't, was way back in 1989-90 when you were still a senior in high school at Woodland High School, and I had just began my broadcasting career with WLAB-FM, broadcasting Concordia Athletics. And
long time ago.
Long time ago.
You're dating yourself a little bit here.
Yeah, well, I'm dated to begin with, just ask your dad. But you came into the Concordia gym in a basketball uniform playing basketball, and I remember you and Jim Mosier doing damage to the cadets. That's the first time I remember meeting you and seeing you perform, and at that point it was on the basketball floor. A lot of our viewers know you went to Woodland High School, and then you made the decision to come here to play volleyball for your dad as opposed to going down to Bloomington and playing basketball for Bob Knight.
And a lot of those friends still haven't forgiven me, to tell you the truth. You know, it was a difficult decision, obviously. In Indiana, we didn't have high school boys volleyball. I only played in the summertime in a club program that my dad actually started for me and a bunch of kids who wanted to play volleyball. So I just played basketball pretty much all through high school. Ended up, because being 6'8", and being a good hand coordination guy, ended up being pretty good at it. And I do remember kicking the cadets all over the court, and nothing gave me a greater thrill, of course, than that. But had a chance to go to play Big Ten basketball, obviously, for Coach Knight. Got a chance to play with his son, Patrick, actually, in the summertime, and went down for my only visit, was to IU for basketball. And just decided that in my heart, growing up in a volleyball house where they're always laying around, and where my dad obviously started numerous programs at Harding here and at IPFW, just chose that volleyball was more the sport for me. Wanted to be an Olympian, and I felt that on that path, on that road, IPFW was the right choice.
I have to ask you, when you finally made the decision, volleyball over basketball, what was Coach Knight's reaction when you basically said, "Thank you, but I'm not coming"?
He says, "I'm not surprised." You know, I think he kind of knew, and that's why I think a lot of other recruiters really didn't come up to me, because they always assumed I was a volleyball player playing basketball. And it turns out they were right. But I sure did appreciate the opportunity to meet Coach Knight, to go down to IU, and what an amazing facility, amazing program he had down there, and a chance to meet guys like Eric Anderson, Pat Graham. Obviously I played with Damon Bailey, and like I said, Pat Knight, and just a wonderful opportunity for a boy from small town Woodburn to go down there and have that kind of experience. And it was a difficult choice, especially I had all my friends, all my coaches in high school saying, "Hey, this is a once-in-a-lifetime deal, getting to play Big Ten basketball." But I always felt like the opposite. It was kind of a once-in-a-lifetime deal to help my dad, to play for my dad, to try to get his program one step up. You know, they came so close all those years, and I remember sitting in the stands with my mom just aching every time we lost to Ball State, you know, 31, 32, 33 times in a row. And I kind of swore to myself that hopefully I could help change that, and luckily enough, we did.
Before we talk about your volleyball career here at IPFW, one silly question. Any regrets looking back now? And I know you're one of the best volleyball players in the world, but any regrets, anything gnawing at you that's saying, maybe I should have gone on and tried my luck?
Not one, to tell you the truth. You know, a lot of the guys ask me, you know, well, maybe you went to the NBA, you'd have all these multi-millions of dollars, but I could never trade in the experience I've had so far with volleyball. You know, over 40 countries, being able to speak Italian, playing in the best pro leagues, Japan, Italy, in the world, going on my third Olympics, getting a chance to meet and marry my wife, my small son. All those things wouldn't have existed had I chose Bloomington. So I don't have one regret.
Volleyball here at IPFW, you made the decision, you came here. I have to ask the inevitable question, what was it like playing for your dad?
Probably a better question from him. It's for sure it's much more difficult for him than it probably was for me, you know, trying to balance the coach and father role. I do remember the very first practice. I came in and, you know, I was pretty heralded as a volleyball recruit, so I thought, you know, my stuff didn't stink pretty well. So I walk in pretty cocky and hot-headed with a big goatee, and as soon as I walked through the door, he turned to Fred, Malcolm, and Tony Looning, who were the co-captains at the time, and he said, get that freshman downstairs and shave that off his face. So they take me downstairs and dry shave this goatee off my face, and I'm going, man, I'm in for a long 4 years if my dad's going to be like this all the time. But it was an awesome experience. You know, not many kids can say that they share the college experience, shared, you know, Division I college volleyball with their father every day. And I think that's why, you know, he's my best friend. So it was a very fortunate experience.
A lot of highlights, a few lowlights, but what I'm going to ask you this question. What was the better highlight? The match that was played in the Gates Center against UCLA, that was on television, or playing in the Final Four?
Between those two, I have to say the Final Four. You know, there was a lot of amazing, you know, the UCLA match, just a full house. I don't even know how many, probably 4,000 people standing up on the track. I remember people waiting outside to get in. The only thing bad about that was we lost.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it had the merit of probably a Final Four match. But, you know, going to the Final Four, especially my freshman year, was probably the best because we got to play USC and then end up beating Penn State in the consolation match. But it was our first Final Four appearance. Our freshman year, that finally beat Ball State in the Mevas at Ball State, you know, just to kind of stick it to them. You know, there was not a better feeling my 4 years than that one. Getting that first one, getting that huge gorilla kind of off your back. I kind of knew what Phil Mickelson was thinking about at the Masters after that game, and it was just a great experience to be able to share that with my dad.
How disappointing was it in the Final Four not to win the whole thing?
You know, it was very disappointing. I thought we had two really good opportunities. My freshman year, even though we went to Hawaii, I don't think we're a good enough team to beat Long Beach or USC. That was there. My sophomore year, I actually felt we probably had the best IPFW team in a long, long time. We had 12 guys deep. You know, we went in the semifinals against a very strong Stanford team, ended up losing in 5. Had we won that, I swear we would have beat Pepperdine in the finals, but, you know, we just couldn't get over that hump. And then the misfortune of me breaking my finger my senior year, which I thought we also had a very good chance to beat, obviously, UCLA, who ended up losing to Penn State. You know, that could have very well been us. And, of course, I kicked myself rarely in the behind for breaking that finger before the Final Four. But, you know, those things happen, unfortunately. But I felt my senior year, my sophomore year, were probably two of the better teams IPFW's ever had, and probably two of the better chances that we've had to win the finals. It's disappointing, not only for me personally, but also because I know how much it would have done for Dad and done for his program.
You graduate, or you leave or graduate from IPFW, and then you move on to the next level, professional volleyball. Talk about that experience.
It's amazing. You know, I remember dreaming about it, watching Jeff Stork, you know, back in the '88 Olympics, and thinking, you know, I want to be on the national team. I want to go play in Italy like he did. And sure enough, I ended up going down that road. I played 3 years professionally in Japan. And much to everyone's disbelief, there actually are tall Japanese volleyball players. You know, they're not all 5'5" and running around. You know, we had a bunch of big guys, and we had a good team. Didn't win a championship there. We finished second 1 year, but amazing cultural experience. You know, a guy from Woodburn living just outside Tokyo. Pretty big cultural swing right there, but it was great for me and my wife to have that, and we still have lots of friends that remain there in Japan. Then obviously going to Italy, hands down the best professional league for volleyball in the world. all the other great players in the world play there. Guys from Russia, guys from Yugoslavia, guys from Holland, all the guys where they've won Olympic medals already go there to play. They're financially well off. Every match we played on television. We play in European championships. I go to France. I go to Russia to play these enormous matches, 10,000 people all the time. It's kind of what I can tell everybody. It's kind of like the NBA for volleyball. And, to pick up another language, to pick up a culture, to eat the most amazing Italian food, obviously, in the world. Just really, really blessed. It's a difficult life because you're away from home 8 months out of the year. But just to do something you love at the highest level is all pretty much anyone asks for, probably in their work.
And as you've mentioned, you've had a chance to participate in Olympic Games, and hopefully you'll be participating in your third coming up in Athens later this year. Talk about the Olympic experiences.
Each one's kind of been different focus. My first one, I was just so happy and giddy to be there. I remember walking in the stadium in Atlanta and knowing my parents are in the 110,000 people that are cheering for us. And I think having the first one at home was probably bad as far as competing because, I had 50 people down there. I was young and got distracted easily and didn't play as well as I liked to. But as far as an Olympic experience, it was amazing. Being in the home country and all those people cheering for you. I mean, my heart was beating outside my chest the entire time. And in Sydney, we actually had a better team 4 years ago physically. We just arrived in poor shape. I had to have knee surgery directly after. Had a lot of guys, trying to get cortisone shots because their shoulders were falling off. So that was just kind of an unfortunate state of occurrences. And then this team, I think, is probably the best team I've played on coming up to Athens. We went to the World Cup in Japan in November, and that was the first chance to qualify any of the teams. We finished fourth, and only the top 3 teams qualified. So that was disheartening. And then we had to go to Puerto Rico in January and qualify in our zone, this North American zone, where we went 6-0, beating Cuba twice and Canada twice. And we won in the final against Cuba 3-2, being down 8-5 in the 5th. So it just showed how much guts and heart this new team has. And I think with that kind of intensity, that kind of pride, I think we'll fare real well in Athens coming up here.
Correct me if I'm wrong. In international competition, you play rally point scoring as we do here, but you only play to 25 instead of to 30.
That's correct. 25 and the 5th game being 15.
You like rally point scoring as opposed to the old days of side outs?
Not really. I'm kind of at 32, kind of an old school volleyball guy. I grew up watching Dad's team play Earlham College and Clark College and Kellogg College, and I just like the old volleyball system. I think the better team always won, which is the way most sports should be. Now with the rally point system, you got teams that are kind of so-so, but one guy gets all fired up, goes back there, serves a bunch of aces, or it's just not the best team always wins, and which makes it more exciting for the fans, which is why they did it. Every time there's a serve, there's a point, so it's easier to follow. Games are a little shorter, so it's better for TV, which you probably like. But it hasn't changed the game all that much. Still, usually, I would say 90% of the time, the best team wins, and that's all that matters.
You were captain of the last Olympic team. You're captain of this Olympic team. What's it mean to be captain of the United States Olympic team?
It's an amazing honor, especially if you think about some of the guys who were captains before me. Guys like Bob Stavrli, Karch Karai, Pat Powers. Hall of Fame volleyball players. But for me, just getting to wear the USA, on my chest is just an amazing feeling. I always promised my grandma Ball, my dad's mother, that before Atlanta, every time we played, I'd always make sure I sang the national anthem, and I do to this day because. We take a lot of things for granted, and I think especially in these last couple of years, Americans are starting to realize that, and getting to represent your country, and obviously being an athlete is nothing like the guys over in Iraq are doing right now, but it's my little part, my little part to help the pride of America, to represent my country, so I do it with 100% and with a lot of pride, and that's just amazing. Once you slip it on, you're never the same. When you have the USA across your back, you're never the same again, so.
Let's briefly change gears for a moment. You play the setter position, and you're 6'8". Your father played the setter position. He's 5'10".
Somebody was wrong. One of us was wrong. Yeah, I don't know. The game has changed so much. Anymore it's pretty tough to find a 5'9", 5'10" guy like my dad anywhere in the game of volleyball. I think now just the setter has become such an offensive part of the game, whether like Dennis Santiago on the Mastodons team hitting it with his left hand, or myself dumping it, or becoming a big part of the blocking system up top. Setters just aren't setting the ball anymore. I led the team in jump serving aces as well, something setters really didn't do a whole lot back when my dad was playing. So I think the game's become more physical, and having big, stronger setters is just part of that.
You had a chance Saturday night to see the Dons take on defending national champion Lewis. Third time they played, but this time it was for all the marbles basically because the winner moves on, the loser goes home. And unfortunately, we fell on the short end, losing 3-1. Thoughts on that match, and then a brief thought on this year's IPFW team?
Well, I think if you look back, if you would have said before the season started that the team would have been as successful as they were during the season, people probably would have laughed. So I think that was a pleasant surprise, how well they played during the season. I think towards the end, the guys ran out of gas a little bit. I think some physical problems took over. But just having to play a good team 3 times in a row, having won the first 2, I just never liked the odds, no matter what sport. That third time, obviously they're coming into a foreign gym, so they have nothing to lose. There's a little added pressure for us being at home. To me, it looked like the guys were just a little tight. I thought they played with a lot of heart. They almost looked like they were trying too hard. And sometimes as an athlete, you play not to lose instead of playing to win. When you play to win, you have that loose feeling. Things seem to flow during the match. And when you're playing not to lose, things are tight, and every little thing seems like a huge deal. Even though the score may be 5-4, that 1 point seems like it's a huge deal. Well, it's not, but when you're playing to lose, it's hard to let that go. So I was really disappointed, that they lost, especially in that fashion, because I think even though Lewis played really well and they deserved to win that match, I think, when we match up players for player, we're a better team. So I know it was disheartening for Dad and for the guys. I know a lot of people say, well, we'll get them next time, but as an athlete, that's tough to swallow. After a big loss like this, the next couple nights are tough. But all you do is you take a break. I told them, finish school, finish strong in school, and then this summer you got to train harder. So when you get in that same situation again, you remember what it feels like in the pit of your belly, and you don't let it happen again.
Matt Zbyszewski, MIVA Player of the Year, leading the country in 2 categories, points per game, kills per game, and I believe he's 4th in aces per game. Your thoughts of Matt?
When I told Dad I thought he was a strong candidate, he is a strong candidate for Player of the Year for the NCAA. Unfortunately, because I think they didn't go as far in the tournament, he probably won't get that. But Matt has just an amazing amount of potential. He's such a good player already, and yet, in my opinion, he hasn't even reached the pinnacle of what he could be. I think the Canadian national team should be looking at him because they're opposite now. Paul Durden is close to retiring, and Matt, I think, could fill those shoes admirably. I think he could be a good international player. Just a gifted athlete, a great all-around player. I just told Matt, the only thing I'd like to see is a little more of a mean streak in him. He's almost too much of a nice guy. If you're going to be that go-to guy, whether it be a national team, Olympic team, college team, club team, when it gets to be 2020 or gets to be 29-29, you got to want the ball and you got to find a way to put it away. And that's something you learn. That's something you can teach. And I hope that this kind of bitter defeat kind of puts that in his mind, in his gut, and that next year I have a feeling Matt will not only break the records he set this year, but probably lead the team on through the MIVAs.
What's the future hold for you?
It's a good question, one I've been contemplating here for the last couple months. I finished my contract in Italy, 4 years, and I've decided not to return. I just want to focus now. I've been training here in Fort Wayne for the last couple of weeks, and I'll train a couple more weeks before I head out to the national team. And then, of course, we have a busy summer preparing for Athens. After Athens, I'm going to return here to my family, and I'd like to go back to school for a year, and maybe if we can work out the logistics, help my dad in some form of assistant coach for a lot of reasons. One, because of the school, obviously. One, because I'd like to get a feel of what coaching is like and see if that's something I'd like to pursue down the road. It's easy to be a player, but sometimes good players don't make good coaches. So I got to kind of get an idea of what that's all about. And I just need a year to recharge my battery. 9-10 years now, going back and forth, Europe national team. We got a house here we barely lived in. I got my boy who doesn't know his cousins very well. I'd like to have one Christmas in Fort Wayne with the family. And then after that, we'll see what I want to do. We'll see if coaching is something I like to pursue, or maybe I'll get the playing itch and I'm still young enough to go back and earn a couple more paychecks overseas. I don't know. But for sure we're going to take a year and just enjoy being a family here in great Fort Wayne. And if all things work out, maybe I can help my dad get the kids over that little hump.
I can't thank you enough for coming in. I appreciate it sincerely. Don't get the chance because, as you say, you're not in town very often. But again, thank you for coming in, spending some time with us and with our viewers, and letting them know what you've been up to.
Absolutely my pleasure.
Good luck in the upcoming Olympic Games.
Thank you very much.
We've been chatting with Lloyd Ball, best volleyball player IPFW has ever produced, thanks in part to his God-given talents and in part to his father, the coach. We'll take a quick break and then wrap up this edition of Mastodon Spotlight in just a moment. Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. Again, we hope you enjoyed our chat with Lloyd Ball. It's always fun to have Lloyd here. He's not been in town that often, as he alluded to in the interview. And as we speak, I believe he is back in Colorado Springs practicing with the U.S. Olympic team. And we hope that things go well and they will make the trip to Athens and participate in the upcoming Summer Olympics. But again, thanks to Lloyd for coming in. Now, some notes as to what's going to happen in the next few weeks here in Mastodon Spotlight. Next week, knock on wood, it's our 1-hour Memorial Day week show. Part of the show will involve a highlight package that we prepared for the athletic department that was shown at the recent athletic banquet. And it runs a little over a half hour, and it covers highlights of, I believe, 8 sports and final team records subject to correction for baseball and softball of all our athletic teams that participated this year. We hope to have Athletic Director Mark Pope with us as well. It's been a custom here in Mastodon Spotlight near the end of the season to have the Athletic Director on to talk about the year just completed and try to get some ideas as to what's going to happen in the year ahead. And if Mark's unable to be with us, we will have something else. But it's a 1-hour special next week on Mastodon Spotlight. After that, we're going to have some shows, some best of shows honoring our graduated seniors and some special interviews, but we'll talk more about that in the weeks to come. That's it for this edition of Mastodon Spotlight. Again, thanks for tuning in to see what's going on with IPFW athletics. Until next week, for everyone here at Channel 56 and for our sponsor, Ryan Steakhouse, located on North Clinton Street, this is Mike Maas saying, have a great week and go Dons. Hi everyone, I'm Mike Maas. Welcome to this special Memorial Day week edition of Mastodon Spotlight, brought to you in part by our good friends at Ryan Steakhouse, located on North Clinton Street. Again, special edition this week. You will see the first half of our 1-hour program, a highlight show that we put together that was shown at the athletic banquet. It'll be a review of the entire athletic year, both highlights and statistical numbers as well. Then, after a short break, the second half of our program this week, we will pick up in progress a portion of a program that we did back in December with members of the news media, sports directors Kent Horman from WISE 33 and Dean Pantassi from 21 Alive, along with our sports information director, Rudy Jovich, and my former colleague here at Channel 56, Ryan Peratt. So, a couple of quick notes before we go into the athletic banquet tape. Number one, the baseball and softball stats that you will see on the tape, they're inaccurate because the seasons were not completed at the time we put it together. And one other quick note for baseball, on the academic front, 2 members of the baseball team named NCAA Division I All-Independent All-Academic team. Ryan Keena, sophomore from Fort Wayne, a biology pre-med major, 3.6 grade point average. And Ryan Steinbach, a junior from St. Louis, Missouri, is a communications major. He had a GPA of 3.35. Congratulations to those 2 gentlemen. Now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this special edition of Mastodon Spotlight.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Let's begin. Party on, party people, let me hear some noise. DC's in the house, jump, rejoices. There's a party over here, a party over there. Wave your hands in the air, shake your dairy, yeah. These three words when you getting busy. Whoop, there it is, hate man. Whoop, there it is. 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 Upside down and inside out. I'm about to show all you folks what it's all about. Now it's time for it to get on the mic and make this motherfucking party hot. I'm taking it back to the old school, cause I'm an old fool who's so cool. If you wanna get down, I'ma show you the way. There it is, let me hear you say. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. getting bent and bent as I puff on dank. Rock the mic, I crave skin rip shit. Find a honey dip to dip it in. Slam dunk it, stick it, flip it and ride that B-double-O-T-Y, oh my. Ooh, that's it, come on, whoop, there it is, I'm done. Come on, whoop, louder, give it to me. Come on, get louder, come on, Some say I'm crazy cause I'm pushing up daisies. The underground sound that you have found amazing, outstanding, demanding, commanding, you people dancing. That's a breath taker. I produce, aka The Undertaker. You wanna come down to the underground old school? Here's a shovel. Can you dig it, fool? Can you dig it? Can y'all dig it? 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 W-H-O-O-M-P as I flow to the fly from the school of old. Hardcore, keep the folklore wreck. 3 to the 2 and 1 mic check. Mass skill, flow ill on the mess of steel. That's the grill of the microphone I just killed. Party people, wish your party tag team is through. Whoop, there it is, I thought you knew. Whoop, there it is. 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 Yeah, tag team music coming straight at ya. That's me, DC, the brain supreme, and my man Steve Rowland. Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back, y'all. Bring it back. Here we go. Whoop, slam the door. When I come into the bedroom, cause I'm the king of the castle. Turn me on, turn me loose. Come on. Try to hit it, it's a hassle. Come get some of this. Don't forget the innuendo. Play me like Nintendo, never ever let go. Keep it so loud, you be hitting the crescendo. Bring it, so latito. Come baby, baby, come. Come baby, baby, come. Well, you gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. You gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. Come baby, baby, come. Come baby, baby, come. Well, you gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. You gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. The telephone goes ring. Hello. But we're still getting busy. Now you're getting dizzy. I can slow it down so you can pump it. Then I move it fast so you can pump it. 2 balls in a bat. My bitch, I wears a hat. Sliding into home base, trying to hit a home run. Swing, bada, 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 swing. Come, baby, come. Come, baby, baby, come. Well, you gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. You gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. Come, baby, come. Come. You gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. You gotta give me loving and you gotta come give me down. Bring it up, come on. Move it all around, bounce. Pump it up and down, bounce. Move it all around, bounce. Pump it up and down, bounce. Tell me, do you like it? Yeah. Do you want a little more? Yeah. Now tell me, do you love it? Yeah. Come on. Let it go. Come on. Give it to me. Come on. Give it to me. Straight up now, tell me. Come, baby, come. Come, baby, baby, come. Baby, come. Come, baby, baby, come. You gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. Come, baby, come. Step, everybody, step, everybody. You gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. Come, baby, come. All together now, come on. You gotta give me loving and you gotta give me some. Come down.
To get down, I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone because I get stupid, I mean outrageous. Stay away from me if you're contagious, cause I'm a winner, no not a loser. To be an MC is what I choose. Ladies love me, girls adore me, I mean even the ones who never saw me like the way that I rhyme at a show. The reason why, man, I don't know, so let's go, cause listen up, cause I'm gonna keep you in step. I got an idea that I wanna share. You don't like it, so what? I don't care. I'm number one, the uno, I like calm. Bring all the suckers, cause all of them I'll stomp. Won't neglect, but I will protect all of my followers, cause all I want is respect. I'm not a boxer, but the man who rocks her. A slick brother that can easy out fox her. Cause I'm Bob, the last name Basis. And over mic, I'm known to be the freshest. So let's start, it shouldn't be too hard. I'm not a sucker, so I don't need a bodyguard. I won't fess, wear bulletproof vest. Don't smoke Buddha, can't stand sex, yes. I'm kinda stingy, that's why I don't wanna lend a funky rhyme to a foe or a good friend. Listen up, cause I want you to comprehend. Cause I'm the leader, the man, superior. I take curia and then you get wearier. So just sit, my rhymes are not counterfeit. The record sells, which makes this one a hit. It won't hurt to listen to Red Alert. Take off the shirt, make sure it don't hit the dirt. I like the kids, the guys, the girls. I won't get done cause this is raw-based world. I'm on a mission, you better just listen to my rhymes cause I'm all about dissing cause
it takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight. It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight.
I stand alone, don't need anyone. Cause I'm raw, just came to have fun. Don't need friends that act like foes. Cause I'm raw, based, the one who knows about things that make you get weary. Don't cheer me, just hear me out. Cause I got the clout, shout. Before I turn the party out, I won't stutter, project my voice, speak clearly. So you can be my choice on stage or on record. Go to the whiz and select it. Take it off the rack, if it's back, put it back. I like the Whopper, the Big Mac. If you want static, so let's go. So, throw up your hands, go for what you know. Bro, I got an ego. Yo, talking to me? No. Oh, cause robbers in the front, easy rockers on the back up. We're not soft, so you better just slack up. Cause I'm cool, calm, just like a breeze. Rock the mic with the help of Easy Rock. On the set, the music play. Only cuts the records that I say.
It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight. It takes two to make a thing go right. It takes two to make it out of sight.
Alright now, Easy Rock now. When I count to three, I want you to get busy. You ready now? 1, 2, 3, get loose now.
It takes two to make it. 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 It takes two to make it.
Is the dome, back with the bass, pajamas live in effect, and I don't waste time on the mic with a dope rhyme. Jump to the rhythm, jump, jump to the rhythm, jump. And I'm here to combine beats and lyrics to make you shake your pants, take a chance. Come on and dance, guys, grab a girl, don't wait, make a twirl. It's your world and I'm just a squirrel, trying to get a nut to move your butt to the dance floor. So yo, what's up? Hands in the air, come on, say yeah. Everybody over here, everybody over there. The crowd is live and I will through this groove. Party people in the house, move. Move.
Come on, let's rock, baby. Let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you. Let the music take control. Let the rhythm move you.
Now hit the dance floor, it's gonna make you sweat till you bleed. Is that dope enough? Indeed, I paid the price to control the dice. I'm more precise, to the point I'm nice. The music takes control, your heart and soul unfold. Your body is free and behold. Dance so you can't dance, so you can't dance no more. Get on the floor and get raw. Dip, come back then upside down, easy now. Let me see you move. Groove.
And especially on the road. And I find it so ironic, and Dean's exactly correct, over the last 10 to 15 years, there has been more to cover in this market, but we're given less time. I'd sure love to know who does those surveys that sports now should only get 2.5 to 3 minutes. And now our market has exploded over the years. This was pre-Wizards, pre-Fury, rest their soul. And now we have a Division I program right here in our backyard. We have other universities. We still have our high school situation. We have the Comets. There is a ton to do. The thing that's neat, and IPFW's history is such, we're stat freaks, so you can never give us too much stuff. I love information overload. I'd always like to have too much rather than too little. And the other thing I like is a lot of people, it's interesting with our viewers, they're quick to call to complain in a good-natured way. Why didn't you cover this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do this? And my response these days is, have you ever watched me on TV? Do my ears look green? And they get all confused. I said, I'm not plant life. I can't find stuff out by osmosis. They called to complain after the fact, and I said, it's really kind of funny. I know Dean's exactly the same way. When people call in advance, it's strange, but more often than not, a camera shows up and we cover the event.
And by in advance, I don't mean 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or 15.
Right.
We've had those. We've had 5 minutes.
And
Very
even
good.
Even then, sometimes we do that. People will call at 5:30,
If we can.
and we'll
Yeah.
get stuff there. And that's one of the things that is so frustrating, because people will call and, my little so-and-so, or why didn't you, it was a great game. I wish we would have known, because we try to plan, we try to get information as much as we can. It's out there, but it's amazing. Rudy will call, hey, guess what? Did you know that Kelly Hartley is going to go for, the 20th win of the season tonight? We're going to be out there. And the other thing, to echo what Dean said, that's exactly correct. The thing that is so important to us with these finite increments of time we operate under is, especially with us doing a 10 and an 11 o'clock show, boy, when the event is over, we need at least the score. And everybody here in town, specifically here, is great at getting us the score, the information, whether it's home or road, and that helps us immensely, because there's, again, nothing more frustrating than to shoot highlights, want to show IPFW against Moorhead State or against Kent State Toledo, and we've got the highlights cut, but we can't get that score. So your last 10 seconds goes kind of like, and hum.
Prior to that, you've gone, oh, do you have it? No. Do you have it? No. And we're trying to do that. The other thing that is really appreciated as much that Rudy understands now, having been in the business, is how close we are to deadlines, and when we are close to deadlines, he knows what we need to know, because I've gotten calls from him at 10 after 11, 15 after 11. This is as quick as I get to you. This is what I got. That's all I need. Bye. See you down the road.
Yeah, our conversations are very brief at that point.
And that's what's funny.
Closer to 11, the conversations get brief, more brief, and more brief.
And he, as they would say, he is well trained. Hi, have everything you need? Anything else? Bye. Because it's funny when people will call, and they're all well-meaning. Hi, how you doing? Hey, and you're just watching that second hand on the clock tick. And there literally are times, if people have ever seen the movie Broadcast News, and I think this goes back into the mid-'80s, and back when it was out, boy, everybody would run up to us and say, there's no way it can be like that, or can, There are little elements of it that it exactly can be, and there are times we're trying to plug scores in or get scores 30 seconds before we have to go out to studio, which is not the best or most prudent way to do it, because we're out in the studio going, IPFW with a key match tonight.
And the other thing I think Rudy understands, having worked in this market size, is just Erie is not that much bigger or smaller.
Right.
It's about the same size,
About the same size.
when you get the whole thing going. We're it. This thing of producers and editors, and you're looking at them.
Oh,
Right here.
I can tell you about that. I
The
can, believe
thing
me.
that impresses me the most about these guys is if they're at a game and they don't have a shooter, the camera's on their shoulders. Now that impresses me, because some of the people that I've worked with before refuse to shoot their own video. Now, it shows you how hard these guys work, because they're out there toting the camera around. And, they're nice when these guys don't want to do that. But they want to get out there. They want to get the story. They want to get the video. They're out there busting their tails to get it, and that's very impressive.
Well, it's a simple equation. If we don't carry the camera sometimes, then we become radio, which is not what we're supposed to be. And I've tried it. An Etch-a-Sketch doesn't quite translate very well to TV.
If we have a chance, sometime during this show, we have to talk about him in the playoffs in hockey one time. One of the funniest bits I heard, and we'll save that for later. But and he knows what I'm talking about. But what you're dealing with also, not only for getting the video, it's also getting us there. We're there. FaceTime. And not so much, hi, I'm here, aren't you glad I'm here? No. I'm here, I care, he cares, we're here, that's why we're here. Who else is not here? Make a note of that. These are the guys who care. These are the guys who
You're
show
in touch
up.
with the community. That's
Right.
a way to get in touch
Exactly.
with the community. And I've had a great opportunity a couple summers ago to intern with NBC 33, and I tell you, it was so invaluable for me, the things that I learned and experienced behind the scenes. And I mean, I obviously can't attest to the deadlines and so forth that they do, but in this world of all access, all media, all the time, everybody wants their face and names and numbers on television, and you can only imagine the deadlines that these guys have to go through to put on 3 telecasts a night, you know. It is absolutely phenomenal. Of course, the job that Rudy has done coming into this position this year has been absolutely phenomenal, at least from the side of IPFW, and these guys can attest to that.
Yeah, the best thing I can say, and this is, you know, not the smoke up the trouser like portion of the program, you make our jobs easy. And that was it'd probably be all we would ask at the end of the day. You make our jobs
Give us
not
a chance.
easier, you make it easier. And, you know, when things can kind of, any amount of time that we don't waste is time we have to try to put just a little finer tune on what we hope is going to be a good product that goes out on the air.
And the earlier we get it, the better we can do it, and that's the whole name of the game.
And I know something that we appreciate, I know I appreciate here at Channel 56, is that when there are times when there are multiple events, when we're doing a broadcast like last Saturday night against Morehead State, when you guys can take our feed, and it's a way we can help each other. And I think that, you know, I appreciate that.
Well, that allows us to get someplace where we wouldn't be otherwise.
Yeah.
And the name of the game is video. Get to as many places as you can be, and if you can use a source that way, I mean, you're a fool if you don't use that.
And again, quite honestly, if it weren't a quality product, we wouldn't be using it. I mean, we're not going to sacrifice I guess what is defined as the broadcast standard just to try to get video up there. I mean, we're not going to use grandma and grandpa's home stuff that's kind of going like this. Come close. We've come close, but no, I mean, and again, we've seen it over the years. The production value of what you guys do has just gone straight up, and yeah, that also does make it easier for us because, as Dean said, you know, if there's a night where there's an IPFW event and say a Comet game or a key high school basketball matchup, that's very beneficial to us to take your feed.
Let me segue that into the next question that I want to ask. It's no secret in the almost 17 years that I've been in this town, if you list what comes first, what comes second, and so forth, I would say high school, Comets, Wizards, and then college, be it IPFW, St. Francis, Indiana Tech. Would I be wrong in that statement, that the people want to see that first?
I think for the most part they want to see what's in their backyard. I mean, that's kind of the way I operate now with the 3 minutes that I have to work with. I agree. I still think that, you know, for the bulk of the year, 9 months or so out of the year, and especially with the tremendous athletes our community is blessed with, we are so spoiled. We just basically, you know, don't make plans on Thanksgiving weekend because we know we'll have a couple of teams down at the state finals in football. It's been the same with boys and girls basketball over the years, and then track and field, you know, just take it right on down the line. So for 9-10 months out of the year, I think really high school sports is our bread and butter. And then we have the professional teams, we have the Comets, we have the Wizards, we have the Freedom, so we'll cover them as much as we possibly can, and then obviously our colleges as well. I think it just depends, though, on any given night, and frankly, that's the one thing we have control over. We choose what we want to lead with.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about our jobs that we probably like as much. We don't like the hours we have to deal with. It takes us away from our wives and our kids, and time that we could use otherwise, but we're enjoying what we're doing, and we have total control to a degree. You know, what goes on is our decision. Yeah. We don't have total control as to how much resources we get, because they could give us more resources and we'd say it's still not enough. They give us more resources, it's still not enough. That's just the way we are. But it's just a very time-consuming thing that you really have to love to do, and fortunately we've done it a long time because we love what we do.
Let me go back to you, Rudy, for a minute. Now that you're on this other side of the camera, talk about any differences that you've noticed from when you were a reporter and anchor.
Well, equipment-wise, it's night and day. Back when I was in the TV game, we would shoot on these bulky cameras with these 3/4-inch tape packs on the other side, and these things weighed a ton. Now I watch these guys walk around now with everything all in one, no bigger than your basic camcorder. And the digital editing in those things is just phenomenal, which I'm sure speeds up the process. But in the end, it's still the same job. You still have to go out and get the facts. You still have to report them accurate and give the people what they want.
What's the toughest part about your jobs?
Hours. And knowing that if you're going to do it right, it's going to take from here to here. As Kent and I are doing this is a lot earlier than probably we would be going to work on a normal day anyway. But this is part of it. This is part of what you do. Yesterday, as we tape, yesterday was obviously a long time ago, we were both at the Coliseum at 10:30 in the morning. And for me, that was even more difficult with a Monday Night Football game. But this, you got to do what you got to do. And unfortunately, that takes away some time, like I said before, that you would be with your family. And then you work very hard to make that up when you have the free time to go out. My kids are both grown now, but I never missed a big moment in their lives. Never did, because there are priorities, and that's when I said, job, see you in a few hours. There are things to do, but you have to prioritize, and you have to be very, very, very careful with your time.
I think time management is the toughest part of the job, and working within those time guidelines, because you're trying to do the best you can. I'll never forget the first day I walked into a television station, just a few years ago, and the chief engineer said, "Congratulations, you now have joined a business where you can't please everybody. In fact, for the most part, you're not going to please that many people. You'll have more people mad at you than you will happy with you." And I thought that was a little bit of an extreme, because the one thing I do like about the job aren't so much the volume of hours, but the different hours and the variety. It's kind of a line from an older movie. Monday's always different from Tuesday, Tuesday's always different from Wednesday, and sometimes we get it right. I mean, if I was working a 9-to-5 job Monday through Friday, I wouldn't be here with you guys. And to me, this is fun. And going to a Comet practice is fun. Going to do, a Freedom practice is fun. When the Freedom first held tryouts, they held them at 6 in the morning at the Plex. Why? Because that was the only time they could get, the only facility they could work out in. So you have to go where the story is, when the story is, and that is a challenge, or again, it's time consuming. But, it's almost like the Navy. It's the greatest job you'll ever love to hate. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I tell people this: it's a job that anybody can do, but not everybody can do it.
And I'm going back to this. I stayed in this. He got out of it for a while and got back in it. Why did he get back in it? To my mind, because how much fun it was.
Yeah, it's interesting because, it was time for me to step away, and just to give you the short version, I stepped away for 3 years, kind of kept my hand in. I went into radio sales, which I learned that's where all the money is. It gave me an opportunity to keep a hand in, though. That's when I got involved with the Wizards. I was doing PA for the Fury, and we were doing high school games on the radio. But it's a bit of a joke, but not so much. I tried a real job for a few years, didn't like it much, so I came back.
Well, we're going to reference what you talked about earlier, Dean, about Kent's story, but I guess the one thing I want to ask, what is the most embarrassing moment you guys have ever had in front of the camera, and what's the happiest or best moment you've had in front of the camera? I can ask all four of you.
Oh, to start, that's easy. The first time I ever did a telecast for Channel 56, because I remember Bernie in my ear saying, "You're on." And I was all prepared. I had all my material ready. I think it was Northern Kentucky and IPFW, the one telecast we were doing back in '99. And I just froze. And I waited and I waited and I said, this is it. And yes, it's College 56. Maybe not a lot of people obviously get access to the channel, but I thought this was just the biggest thing for me, kind of making a national, if you will, debut. And I just remember freezing up and waiting, and then finally I eased into the telecast, and that'll always stick out for me. That'll always stick out. Probably my most embarrassing. I remember doing this wiener dog race summers ago,
and they're off
for 33, and that's probably my most embarrassing moment.
Pretty tough, losing to a wiener
Yeah,
dog.
that was something else. They cheated.
Well, embarrassing would be the one, and this would involve radio, because I dabbled in that as a dual right out of college in Elkhart. And I was doing a newscast, and I got to the weather. And got to the point, it's nice, fair and warmer, load on it. Tomorrow, I'm glad this is cable now. Fair to partly cloudy, with a high in the blah, 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 blah. Well, there was a little studio that you would do the news in, and then there was a board operator on the other side of the glass, and all of a sudden, I can just see him sink right below the console. And I look around, and I know what I did, and I just have to keep on going. As I turn around to go out of the room, everybody in the newsroom is on their desk, heaving, laughing so hard. No, I really didn't do that. The other, it wasn't so much an embarrassing moment as it was a tough one to get through. And unfortunately, this also involves passage of gas. I'm on the air in the TV station. This would have been in the late 70s at 21 Alive. And we had a floor operator cueing us from camera to camera. Because we weren't too artistic with shots then, so artistic shot was camera to camera. Oh, that was really neat. So he's cueing me, and he's got his back to me. And he's going me over the camera and like this. And right on cue, as he's doing the movement over, the cheese is cut. right to the complete move. And I don't know how I kept it. Because everybody, and you, in your peripheral, you can see people dying. So that's very, very distracting. And we kept it going, and that was tough. That was very tough. Biggest moments are also two. Sitting at the 1984 Olympic trials for basketball in Bloomington, and looking at all the talent that was there at that time. Jordan, Ewing, Barkley, Stockton. No, Elijah
wasn't there. Okay.
No.
And Barkley didn't make the team.
And Barkley
Yeah,
got
Barkley
cut
didn't
to the team for Tim McCormick.
Ate himself off the team.
Yeah. All those guys there, and then the coaches: Knight, Katie, Thompson, every coach. And I'm going, Dean Smith. What? This is cool. The other one would be, and this is from a non-Catholic. In 1980 or 81, the Pope came to Chicago, and I went into the Loop, which they cordoned off, 12 square block area, and still there were 1.5 million people in Grant Park. And this is when I toted a camera to this too, so we could have, I was the reporter, but I toted a camera so we could have a different look. And I got as close to the Pope as I am to Ryan right now. Wow. And he touched my hand as I'm shooting. I'm going, oh, cow. And cow wasn't the word. And that was, and people looked at me as though I had been canonized. This was pretty neat, but sorry folks, I'm still here and I'm still walking the same streets you are. But that was very, very, very special, and realizing now, and I see the man failing in health, and it's kind of sad to see, but he is advanced in years, but that, and how many people get that chance? Yeah. And those are the kind of chances this business affords you.
Kent?
Most embarrassing, I would say, and I've fortunately not had many of these, but you get on the air and you get into like a coughing fit. Just you're either on, and that's the other thing too. Sometimes you're not at 100% health-wise, and you're trying to do a story and you do one of these. Doing this for like 4 minutes is not a whole lot of fun, and you're just it's like the man calling through the desert. Please, how about some water? You're praying you had a sound bite in your story somewhere so you can take a slug of water. Otherwise, you're just hacking like a fiend through 3 or 4 minutes. That's pretty tough. When I first started, this really happened. At Channel 55, when I started at 55, we had the first satellite and the first satellite program, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Country Music Awards. Well, people don't know how to really dial in a satellite right off the hop, and they're trying to get this in, and it's one of those deals where the audio was awful. I'm one of only 2 or 3 people in the building. I think I'd been there 4 or 5 days. Somebody calls up and they said, you have to do an audio cart to let people know that it's a technical problem. It's not in their set. We're working to help, correct it. I had no idea. So I go in this room and they said, put this tape in there, push this button, and then talk into the mic. I mean, it was like, doing this ABCD. I had no clue. I've got this Topo Gigio, Ed Sullivan mouth voice, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really sorry. The satellite transmission, the problem is not in your set. We have engineers working feverishly to help create the problem. Pull the card out, stick it in there, and I go sit in another room, and all of a sudden this comes on. I hear my voice on TV. I go, this is pretty cool. Hey, wow. Phone rings in the hotline. What did you just do? And I said, they told me to cut this audio card. And they go, well, you bonehead, play it. I go back and play it. Sorry, folks, the problem is not in your set. We are working with the satellite transmission. Engineers are working feverishly to help create the problem. Bulk erased it and did it again. My career almost ended the first 4 or 5 days I was there over a little 20-second audio card. Highlights are very simple. Number one, 1993, when I was crying like a baby when the Comets won the Turner Cup, and we broadcast that game live. In fact, I had a very good period of time in 93 from like April through May, because we broadcast the very first Wizards game in Fort Wayne in April of 93, the Comets winning the Turner Cup in May of 93, which were the professional highlights in my life, and then right up there would have been January of 94 when we did the IPFW UCLA volleyball match live in prime time. And we found out that at that time we were the first ever network affiliate in the country to televise a men's volleyball match live in prime time. And that was when I know we have fire marshals and fire personnel around, but they all went like this, or because last time I checked, the Gates Center holds about 2,500 people, and there might have been twice that in there. And to this day, I think it's one of Arnie's favorite memories, because he gave Al Skates the scare of his life. Yeah. And he said he'd never come back, and the only time he did come back was to lose a national championship, and then I think they won one here as well.
Yeah.
So, but those were the professional plums.
Before I get to Rudy, you had a story you wanted.
Oh,
Gotta
yes.
get the story.
Oh, yes. We both had frustrations, and these come to the level of, when you work in a market this size, which is not the biggest, there are going to be problems, and you're going to have a little situation where things did not go as planned. Playoff game or regular season?
I think it was a playoff game. I want to say it was a playoff game.
For whatever reason, his tape went bye-bye. I mean, either quality or it didn't get shot or something else like that.
Blew up.
And so he gets a wiping board that you put on ink, and it had the red lines and the two blue lines and the goal lines. And he gets magic marker and diagrams of the play. And then the last thing was the shot for the point, score! And he did the whole play-by-play on a whiteboard.
It was like courtroom drawings.
You were years ahead of your time.
Well, that was one of those things where it's one and done. You do it one time, it's funny, and then you can't roll that one out again. But that was so funny, because I was so frustrated at this. It was a huge game. Of course, to me, every Comet game's a huge game, but it was a big game. It was supposed to be our lead, and there's nothing more frustrating that you get the tape back, you know you're listening to the game on the radio, you're going to have these great goals, put the tape, and you just see tape spitting out like... So I thought, and I was so perturbed, and I thought, what am I going to do? And I was stomping around the newsroom, and all of a sudden I saw these courtroom sketches laying there from the artist we'd used for a trial I suspect the station was covering, and I thought, hey, would have been funnier if I actually had any kind of artistic skill, but all I could really do was draw the blue lines, the red line, the circle, and then I drew stick figures.
Perfect.
Vladimir Siplikov, score!
I was going to say, did you give it the goal call on it too?
He did the whole thing. People called me at the other station and says, you do tape 33 that night? Yeah. You got to see this. And we all got in there. We howled. But I thought, what he did was basically make the best of a bad situation. And at that point, and more often than not, this is what you have to do. There are bad situations out there. Those 4 minutes or 3 minutes are going to go by one way or the other. You better make the best of what you had, and he did the best with what he had.
Okay. I wish we had more time, but John's telling me that we're basically out of time, so you're off the hook.
Off the hook.
Thank each of you for coming. This has been enjoyable. I really appreciate it, and I know, Rudy, you feel like I do. We appreciate the stuff that you guys do.
Absolutely.
And for the record, we did invite Randy Schiffman from News Channel 15, but he's out of town, so I want to make sure of that. So we're not showing any favoritism. These guys help us, and we try to help them, and we appreciate their efforts. And again, I thank each of you for coming today.
Thanks, Mike.
This has been a fun show here at Mastodon Spotlight, our media roundtable. Again, thanks to Rudy Jovich, our SID at IPFW, to Kent Horman, sports director at Wise 33, Dean Pantassi, sports director at 21 Alive, and Ryan Perrott, my old sidekick, who's now helping Arnie Ball coach the men's volleyball team. That's it for this edition of Mastodon Spotlight. Again, thanks for tuning in to see what's going on with IPFW athletics and other things. And we invite you to come back again next week. But until next week, this is Mike Moss saying have a great week and go Dons. Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Mastodon Spotlight. I'm your host Mike Moss. Our program is brought to you in part by our good friends over at Ryan Steakhouse, located on North Clinton Street across from Scott's Foods. This week, what I'll term a freshie show. And what I mean by that is we're going to have two interviews that we did a while back, but they have never aired before. And they are interviews that we did with two senior women's soccer players. And the players that you're going to see a little bit later, Katie Leahy, a senior from Cincinnati, Ohio, who played 4 years, all 4 years that she attended here at IPFW. She played soccer for Coach Terry Stefankowitz. And Abby Meyer, who only played 2 years. She transferred from a school in Minnesota. But Abby graduated, as did Katie, in terms of athletic eligibility-wise. They're all done. And they're going to talk to you about their experiences here at IPFW, both on the soccer field and off the soccer field. So we're going to take a little break, and then we'll come back first with Katie Leahy from Cincinnati, Ohio. And her interview will come your way when Mastodon Spotlight returns in just a moment.
I came to IPFW basically, I hadn't found a school yet. I wasn't sure where I was going, but I knew I wanted to play soccer. I didn't want to live at home. I wanted to kind of get away, get on my own. And actually, my club coach had talked to Harper. And so he talked to me then, and then I called Harper, and we kind of emailed back and forth and talked on the phone a couple times. And I actually went up to Youngstown State and visited there for one day, and then me and my dad drove down to Fort Wayne and stayed here the rest of the weekend. And pretty much fell in love with it right away with the whole, both Harper and Coach were great. They took me around, showed me the campus. The soccer complex, was happy with everything, and pretty much sold me on it right away. I wasn't 100% sure, and I was actually leaving like the next day to go on spring break, and I called him in the middle of the spring break and had said that I decided to come here. But basically was just happy with it from the minute I got here.
In the course?
That was a big reason why I came here, was because it was a new program. I kind of wanted to go to a school where you could build upon it, and it wasn't, I guess that was another thing that drove my attention here. I wanted to start somewhere and build a foundation, I guess, and go somewhere. So that I was happy about that. And I know it's kind of funny because my first year here, it was actually the second year of the program. And the first year, they hadn't won a game. They only scored 2 goals the whole season. So me and my dad kept trying to ask him as far as if people were returning and how the previous season went. And you could tell they didn't want to talk about it, but you could tell at the same time that they were excited about the upcoming season and that they wanted to make changes and everything. So I wasn't too worried about the season before. When I came to IPFW, I had no idea what to expect. I was terrified. I remember stepping out on the practice field the first day and seeing 10, 11 other girls out there, and I had no idea what to expect. I was probably the scaredest I've ever been in my whole entire life. Growing up, I've played on soccer teams where I've known there's a core of us who played from the time we started up until and through high school. And so coming onto a field and not knowing a single person was pretty scary. I had no idea as to whether or not I was going to play. I was hoping, obviously, and praying that I was going to get some playing time. But I was scared to death. I had no idea what to expect. Right. Again, even our first season, even though our record was 5-12, it was a brand new team. The previous year, again, like I said, they only scored 2 goals, didn't win a game, and I think our first game was against Finley, and beating them, I think, was pretty much a confidence builder, and I think I knew from that point on that it was going to be a good 4 years. And we didn't expect to go into our freshman year and win every game. It's a building process, and we've done that. Every year we've had more and more wins. So even though it was a 5-12 record, it was a successful season in my eyes. When we went to Division I was excited. I was thrilled. I know a lot of people were worried because there's different things are changing. There's new rules, grades and stuff. I know a lot of people were worried about. But I was thrilled. I was excited. I think that was the one thing in deciding to come to IPFW is that they weren't Division I. And so when he told us that we were going to Division I, it was, I don't know, I wasn't expecting it, but like I said, I know a lot of people were disappointed about it, but I was excited.
Next year?
When we went from 5 wins to 3 wins, I don't think so. Again, we were building. We had a lot of new players. I don't remember how many returning players we had, but it was a new team. We were playing a lot tougher teams. I think we were probably more happy with the way we played our second season because we knew that the teams we were playing my sophomore year obviously were a lot tougher. And we knew that if we went back and played the same teams we played our freshman year, we would have blown them out. And teams that we either lost to by 1 or 2, that we tied, we knew that we were growing and we knew we were becoming better individually and as a team. So I think the morale was just building. And we had a ton of injuries my junior year. I know Lindsey Williamson went out pretty early. But I think, again, that's another coming together as a team, whether you're on the bench, whether you're on the field. And we were constantly supporting each other. And I think a lot of times in a losing season, you learn a lot more than you do in a winning season. And we've learned a lot as far as losing, and it's a lot harder to come together as a team when you're losing than when you're winning. It's easy to come together and to be one and everybody be supportive when you're having a winning season. But I think it's losing a lot of times that builds character and builds morale on the team, and we were constantly supporting each other. And so I think even though it was a losing season, again, we don't consider it a loss or a negative. Coming into my senior year, I think the big thing is I didn't want to go out with any regrets. I know a lot of the previous season, a lot of games, or at the end of the season, we were always saying we should have won this one, we should have won that one. And we didn't want that at all. And I know, I remember being so nervous right before the showcase because we hadn't won a game in the showcase yet. Neither IPFW team had won a game in the showcase. And we wanted, we were confident and we were determined. We wanted to start off well. It doesn't count towards your record, but as far as building team confidence and stuff, we needed to go into the showcase with a win. And I think winning against Central Michigan basically just set the tone for the rest of the season. And ending the season with 2 wins, the first one against the first one against Eastern Michigan and the second one against Toledo. was a great way to end the season. And we didn't end the season with I should haves and we could haves, and I wish so.
Season coming to an end.
Yeah, I think ending a season like that, you don't want it to end. I remember we won 5 of our last 6, and the one that we didn't win was against Wright State. And I know we didn't play our best game that day. It was rainy and it was cold, and I know we wish we would have won that one. But nobody wants to end a season or their college career. I mean, you want to keep playing when you're winning and stuff. It was a great way to go out. Couldn't have asked for a better way to have gone out. 2 wins against Toledo and Michigan. We were not supposed to win at all. The win against Michigan itself was a shocker. I think we even kind of surprised ourselves that day. We didn't expect to go into it with the win. And then to come right back out and go against Toledo and beat them in double overtime again also was awesome. It was incredible. And Beanie scored the winning game, and to have it be her senior year and to go out like that, it was awesome.
Winning season.
Good, obviously. Like I said, one of the big reasons that I came to IPFW was because it was a first year team, and you want to build and hopefully leave the program in better shape than when you came in. And to go out with a winning season was awesome. And with 9 wins, the most for an IPFW women's soccer team, was incredible. And I don't think we could have ended it a better way. Well, we kid all the time because more than half of our team, I think when you combine the women's and the men's soccer team, is half Massachusetts people, and then everyone else is from Indiana or Ohio or Michigan. But over half our team is probably from Boston. And I know it's funny because when I've talked to them and I've roomed with them for 2 years, and when they came on their recruiting visit, they had no idea, didn't think they were going to come to IPFW. And so obviously they've contributed very, very big to the team and have been played a major role on the team. And didn't think I was going to bond with them and form the relationships that I have with them. So again, like I said, Beanie went out. She scored the winning goal in the Toledo game. So it was just incredible. I know we were all in tears at the end of the game. And it was sad. It was sad that it was over. But it was a good way to end it. Playing all different positions throughout my 4 years here, I think definitely was beneficial. I've learned something from every position that I've played. I think my favorite position probably was probably outside mid. I like to run, so obviously that works well for me out there. But again, I've learned my freshman year I came in and started as a defender, and that was never my favorite position. But like I said, you learn something from every position, so I think it was definitely beneficial. Playing in the soccer showcase, I really can't even explain it. It's one of the biggest, probably preseason tournament games in college soccer. All the big teams are there. I never thought in a million years that not only would I be a part of it, but that the school I go to is hosting it. Coach and Harper have done a phenomenal job organizing it, getting it together. Our first year against IUPUI, we lost. It was a hard loss, I remember, 2-1, and we haven't lost to them since. And then the next year playing against IU, never thought in a million years I'd be playing against IU. I remember going to Indiana soccer camps when I was younger, and they're always just seem like they are at a much, much higher level. But we came in and we gave it everything we had, competed with them, and then my third year against Central Michigan, came in. No one expected us to win. I think even Central Michigan might have thought they were going to have an easy win. And to win it in front of all those people was awesome. And I think it was a great way to start the season. And having that many people there at the showcase kind of opened a lot of people's eyes and made them realize that we could play with anybody. Biggest highlight here at IPFW during my 4 years probably was last game against Toledo. I was going to say either the first game against Findlay when we won, because nobody expected us to win. And I remember getting on the bus, and Coach was about in tears because the women just had their first win. We had already scored more goals in our first game than we did all season the year before. And I knew right then I was going to love the next 4 years, and they were probably going to be the greatest 4 years of my life. But other than that, probably the last game when we scored against Toledo, we didn't have the opportunity to be part of a conference, so that was kind of a conference game, a tournament game for us psychologically, and to go out with a win in double overtime and just everyone running out on the field and in tears and everything, it was awesome. My thoughts on playing for Coach, it was awesome. Actually, a parent just asked me the other day how I felt about Coach and Harper, and I love him to death. I've learned so much from him, and even after my 4 years, I probably bug him to death because I'm in their office just about every day. And they're two coaches that genuinely care about you, genuinely take the time out to help whenever you need help with anything. And I could not have asked to play for two better coaches than both of them. They've taught me so much, and it's been incredible. At IPFW, what I will miss the most probably will be playing soccer. Playing soccer, as much as we all hate it, those two-a-days are unforgettable. And if I could go through another week of two-a-days, I would in a heartbeat. The relationships that I've formed, the people I've met with Coach and Harper has been phenomenal. And probably soccer, just the whole soccer. And people have said it, and I know a lot of coaches and stuff stress the importance of a family, a soccer family. But between our team, the women's team, and the men's team, and coaches, we were, in every sense of the word, a family. We were always there for each other. And I think it's going to be different not having that anymore in the future. So that's probably what I'll miss most.
I never thought I would come to IPFW when I received the stuff in the mail from Terry. I talked to him on the phone once, and he said he'd send me, information about it. And I kind of looked at it and went, I've never heard of that school. Being from Minnesota, you don't hear about the regional schools as much as the big schools. But, Terry was very persistent and never gave up. And finally, he got me to come out and visit, and that is what really clinched it. I came out here and got to know a few of the girls and got to see the facilities, the campus, the area, and I just thought it'd be great to come out here. It was a good opportunity. Well, the school I went to before was a private college of 500 students. So the difference between the amount of students, was huge, but the soccer programs were somewhat similar because the program that I was in was a new program. It had only been around for a few years, so it was still building. So that was, similar, something I could relate to, between the two. So soccer-wise, it was, pretty similar, other than the fact that this was Division I. It was great. The moment we drove out there, it was dirty because they were working on the press box. Excuse me. And so it was hard getting out onto the field. There was some bridge we couldn't get over, but once we got inside, it was just amazing. The stadium is in such great shape, and there were just fields as far as you can see, and it was just very neat. I liked it. Adapting from, my first team to coming here was difficult because you come in and you're a junior, but you feel like a freshman. You know, I mean, you have that 2 years under your belt, and I was, co-captain my sophomore year because it was a 2-year team. It was a junior college level still. And you come in, you're this experienced player, but you feel like the newest person. You don't know who's new, you don't know who's experienced, and you kind of feel, very by yourself. And it was hard. I remember the first day because, I didn't know a soul. I came out here and knew no one, so I kind of just stuck with my roommate. But it didn't take long, and the girls were, warming up and very friendly, and they really did become like a family. It was great. At first, it wasn't as smooth as I wanted to be. I don't think that I was as receptive because I was so, it was like a culture shock, moving 3 states away. It was like, oh, what am I doing here? Oh, it's great. Then I don't, it was hard at first because I didn't know if I liked it. And I think once that I got used to it and started, warming up to the girls and they were warming up to me, it was a lot easier to, on and off the field to get to know the girls. And so they helped a lot. I felt that my junior year was successful because at the beginning we weren't used to playing with each other. There were so many new people, and there was a lot of getting used to playing with each other. But mid-season, we kind of turned this corner where we said, hey, we're gonna start playing like a team. And I just there wasn't one defining moment, but it was just at that time when it really turned around and everybody started playing together as a team, and we did really well at the end of that season. And with our last trip to South Carolina, I really felt like we had finally become a team, and that things could only get better. So at the end of the season, I really thought that it was a learning experience and was ultimately successful. Well, I knew that the coach had brought in a lot of recruits that winter and in the spring, and that we were looking forward to getting some new players that were really there was. He was saying, oh, this person's all state and this person, was great. And so we're looking forward to, added competition, because when you bring in the better players, your existing players can only improve. And so we were really looking forward to that. And I think that we proved that with our first game coming out at the beginning of the season, that we were ready for a higher level. The first soccer showcase, it was just like, wow. It really can't get any better than that. You bring in North Carolina and Purdue, and, that's what everybody strives for. That's who everybody wants to be. And just being able to sit on the sidelines, 10 yards from the sideline is awesome. I mean, it's great to, be by those players who have been, playing in Europe or playing around the world and just have that high level of skill that, you really admire. And our first game, I remember it was my first game at IPFW, it was our soccer showcase game against IU. And at that point, we're stepping on the field, and I kind of felt like, well, this little phrase I've learned here, deer in the headlights. I mean, really, that's what it was like. Is I came from this junior college in Minnesota, coming here and playing IU, which was just amazing. And even though, we didn't win that game, it was still, this is something special. It was really great being a part of it. That was a great way for us to start the season and really come out to the school and the community, I think, and to, Division I soccer, that we are, we're building and we're learning. We can't just be put on your schedule to be an easy win anymore. I think that IPFW is beginning to prove itself, and that was a big part of it. Well, I think we started out senior season with a lot of confidence. We won that first game, and we were going into the season thinking, we're twice as good as we were last year. And we started out really well, and then it kind of dipped into this valley where we weren't winning as much, and all of a sudden we kind of realized that we still needed to be working hard to, attain that goal. And I think that the end of the season really showed, the work that people were putting in at practice, that they wanted to, keep winning and end the season well. And Terry used, an analogy that this was our tournament, our last games, because we don't have the conference tournaments. And so, we really strive to win those last games, which we did. The last 5 of the 6 games that we played, we won, and a few in double overtime. So I think we really came out successful in that way. Well, I think the other 3 girls, they've really you can see the work that they've put in the 4 years that they've been here. They, put everything into building this program. And, they knew coming in, they didn't even start at Division I. It started after they came here, and they really put a lot of work into building the team, and I think that their work paid off. And, the program is building, and I think that's partly due to them, and I think they deserve credit for that. I really enjoyed, playing for Terry and Harper. They're two different personalities, but they're both, with the same goal. They care about their team. They want their team to succeed in all angles, school, social issues, besides, on the soccer field, and I think that they're very good all around for the players. I think my highlight is just being part of the program, being part of a, Division I program. In the years that I played soccer, I never imagined that I'd have that opportunity, and I think that was just my, biggest memory about it, and my best success is just being able to come here and play Division I. My low point would have been last year when, we turned this corner being successful, and then I went down and tore 2 ligaments, and I was part of that injury list last year. So, but we got through that, and the highlight was just ending our senior season the way they deserved to end it. And I think that would have been my favorite part of it. I just wanted to prove that I came back from the injury. I think it happened more in the spring because that's when I was doing the therapy and doing the hours down in the training room of the working with the band and working with the trainers, just trying to get it strong. And they did a good job because I haven't had a problem since. And I think, just being able to go through the season without it re-injuring it, playing at that level, which is a lot rougher, was a success. I think coming here was probably the best experience that I've had in life so far. It's been the biggest learning experience for me because I moved away from everything that I knew prior to coming here, and I learned so much about me and about people and how to deal with a lot of situations, and had a lot of fun and played good soccer, and I'm graduating, so it was successful. I wouldn't trade it.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. We hope you enjoyed our chats with both Katie Leahy and with Abby Meyer, and we wish both of them success as they complete their education here at IPFW and in their travels beyond. Now, what's ahead next week on the show? Glad you asked. We're going to continue with the soccer theme. We're going to have head coach Terry Stefankowitz with us, and he will talk with us not only about his experiences with Abby and with Katie, but also with the other seniors that graduated from the program this year. And on the women's side, that is the Massachusetts duo of Kristen McDonald and Chasina Hersey. And on the men's side, there was one senior, Garrett Buck. Terry will talk to us about all 5 of those seniors. And then, after a break after that talk with Terry Stefankowitz, we're going to replay an interview that we were honored to do back on our second show of this season back in August during the playing of the Soccer Showcase. And that interview was with Jerry Yeagley, the now retired head coach from Indiana. Boy, my tongue is tied this week. University. Coach Yeagley, very instrumental in helping to have the Soccer Showcase here in the first place, along with Terry Stefankowitz. And the oddity of oddities, when we taped the interview with Jerry, little did we know that in his final season he would coach the Hoosiers to their 6th national championship. What a way to go out after a brilliant career by winning a national championship. But the interview with Terry Stefankowitz and the interview with Jerry Yeagley will comprise next week's show. And that's about it. So until next week with those 2 interviews, this is Mike Maas for our sponsor, Ryan Steakhouse, again located on North Clinton Street across from Scott's Foods, saying have a great week and go Dons. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Maas. Welcome to another edition of Mastodon Spotlight, brought to you in part by our good friends over at Ryan Steakhouse. David Kennedy and his staff, located on North Clinton Street across from Scott's Foods. Stop by and thank David for supporting IPFW athletics here on College Cable Access Channel 56. This week, a special show. Last week, we talked to two graduated seniors from the women's soccer team, Katie Leahy and Abby Meyer. This week, we're going to talk to their coach. Head coach Terry Stefankowitz sat down with us recently and talked not only about these two women, but also about the other two seniors on the women's soccer team, Shasina Hersey and Kristen McDonald. And also, he talked about the lone senior on the men's team, Garrett Buck. We'll have Terry's interview in a moment. And then after a break after that interview, we're going to replay an interview we did back in August with the now retired head coach from Indiana University, Jerry Yeagley. Coach Yeagley, very instrumental in bringing us like a showcase here to Fort Wayne. And the irony of ironies, in his final season as a coach, he coached the Hoosiers to their 6th national championship. So interviews with Jerry Yeagley and Terry Stefankowitz. That's the menu this week. We'll take a break and come back with the first of those interviews in just a moment here on Channel 56.
Kristen McDonald was our first recruit when I took over the program. We tried like crazy to get Kristen here. And in recruiting Kristen, she said, I have a friend who we should talk to, and that was Shasina Hersey. Shasina was a year older, didn't go to college. She was recruited by a lot of Division I schools, but decided not to go. And we brought Shasina out here, and she fell in love with the place. So that's what started the Massachusetts connection on the women's side. My hat goes off to them and to Katie Leahy, who came in that year to a program that was one that we were not proud of. It was an 0-18 team, and they knew they had a chance to come in and play right away, but they were better than that. They knew that they wanted to leave their mark, and they did. Finally, their senior year with a 9-7-3 Division I record, 5 out of the 6 victories in the last 6 games, a consecutive streak of 3 in a row, a showcase victory, beating the MAC champions. Just a tremendous plus for those seniors. Shasina is probably by far and away the best player that we've ever had here at IPFW on the women's side. She's so physically talented. She's fast, she's strong, she can shoot the ball like the guys do. She has that burning desire to win, and she'll be hard to replace. Kristen McDonald was always a forward, and she was the leading scorer for IPFW for 3 years. And this, her senior year, because we got some additional talent, we saw that she could be a tenacious defender. And it took weeks of mentally making her accept this role, but we moved her to the back, and it was very, very difficult, the transition. And by the end of the season, she came to me and she said, you made the right choice, and it will help me in my coaching. She wants to coach, and she's going to coach. And she said, I've played forward, I've played midfield, and now I've played in the back, and I understand the mentality and the role playing that goes along with those 3 positions, which will make her a better coach. So those two are excellent players. Katie Leahy isn't the best Division I soccer player, but Katie Leahy's about 5'1" and has a heart of a giant. She plays above her talent level because of her heart, her desire. She has great vision on the field, makes great passes, but being only 5'1" or 2" and maybe close to 100 pounds, she gets knocked off the ball easily. And but she's a leader. She's a captain. She was the one we went to over and over again for things off the field. If you ever want something done, you go to Katie Leahy and she'll get the job done. And Katie's from Cincinnati, and we'll really, really miss her. Abby was a junior college transfer from Minnesota. And Abby came in, and she had good speed and a good right foot. And she came from a program where soccer was not the primary goal. It wasn't one of the biggest sports on campus. And Abby came in with like a 4-point average. She's now going to go to grad school. She's applied to the Department of Communications. Abby's going to graduate on time with a 3.5 a cum, and we may see her in your role. That's her goal, is to be on TV one of these days. You know, she's a very attractive young lady and outgoing, and she's one that we know will be really, really successful in the future. Yeah, Abby, like I said, Abby did not even start here, but Abby's one of those girls that brought maturity to the program in terms of she's a professional type atmosphere, always on time, and responsible, straight A student, road trips, always studying. Those are the kinds of things that rub off on the younger players too. The other three were starters, and I know that they struggled for the first couple years. But they had a commitment and a goal, and they met it. And I'm going to miss them. Like I said, Shasina is the consummate player, and just a super athlete. She's probably going to play with the PDL team here in town, the first women's team in the W League. And I guess the best thing about all of them is they're all going to graduate. Abby's graduating this year on time. Kristen and Shasina will graduate next year, as well as Katie. And right now, the fact that their playing days are over, that's the most important. They're going to graduate. They're great citizens. I'm proud of them. Well, yeah, she's the best player ever, and it's funny, in the second overtime, you know, you have that little pause, and you're able, and the girls are dead tired. They had just played a double overtime match the day before against Eastern Michigan and beat them, and I overheard Alyssa Bailey, who's a freshman, say, "This girl always does the same thing when I get the ball, a defender." And she said, "Shasina, just run in behind her. I'm going to slip you the ball, and it'll work." Now here's a freshman telling Shasina, you know. And honestly, it's just like she drew it up. And you've got the replay. The defender stands exactly where Alyssa said. She bends the ball around the defender. Shasina runs in, game winner. It was great. To answer your question, it should have been that way. You know, it's like a storybook finish, but it should have been. She deserved it. Garrett Buck, what can I say? Garrett is from Louisville, Kentucky. He scored 2 goals in showcases over the course of 4 years. He was our center mid for 3 years, and here it is his senior year, a year in which he should have had glory and been able to score. We moved him back to sweeper because we didn't have that leadership in the back that we needed. He accepted that role, and he did a terrific job for us in the back. He and Barry Morgan are probably our 2 most technical players. And here's another young man. He has a 3.5 a cum. He's going to graduate in the School of Business and Marketing. He's out looking for a job. He played last year for the Fort Wayne Fever. Just can't say it. He is a true gentleman, and he's going to be really successful in the future.
correct me.
Yeah, he was a little tentative when he came back because we heard it snap on the practice field, and he came back and I could see he was a little bit timid. And then all of a sudden, you get into the contact and you start playing, and then finally he got beyond it, and he just played. He was so steady back there, and he took our restarts. He's mature in the back and confident, and we lack some of that confidence, and he gave that to us. We'll really miss Garrett.
Did he have?
Yeah, it was one time, instead of just saying, Garrett, you're going to sweep, Mike and I went to him and said, we know where you should be, but you know where we need you. And right away he said, yeah, I know that. Put me back there and I'll do the job. And it's tough because, your senior year, you're not in the conference. There's no all-conference awards. Odds are you're not going to the NCAA tournament or conference tournament. You put him back where one of these roles in which you just don't get any of the accolades, and he accepted that. That's a tough thing to do for a young man, and he did a great job. I remember telling his parents, they took a road trip down to South Carolina with us, and I said, the one thing about Garrett, he's always a gentleman. He's a tough competitor on the field, but as soon as that game's over, he's a gentleman, somebody you should be proud of. And he is.
I think we can. Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. We're coming to you from the Hefner Soccer Field Complex. It's day 3 of the 2003 IPFW Soccer Showcase, and we have the honor and privilege of speaking with what I feel is the at least one half of the driving force behind the Soccer Showcase here at IPFW. We welcome to Mastodon Spotlight head coach Jerry Yeagley from the Indiana University Hoosiers.
Great to be with you. I appreciate the credit given to me for this event, but I don't share nearly half. Believe me, Terry Stefankowitz, who came up with the idea, he deserves a lion's share, and then the university, IPFW, and the community, the rest. I had a small part in saying, hey, sure would bring pride to the state, to the local community, and a great place for us to come and play because of the great facilities. So any part of this I had has been more of a win for us, and I appreciate all that's done for the event to nurture it and grow it.
Well, let's talk a little bit. As we're taping this segment, your team just finished play against Rutgers University. An interesting match to say the least, an exciting match in the sense that it took your team 89 minutes and 39 seconds to get a goal. And but you did tie the game with 21 seconds to go to salvage a 1-1 draw with Rutgers.
The good news was the character the team came through in the end when we were down. And first half, I thought we played very well and should have had 2 or 3 goals. I was very pleased. Then we had a key midfielder come out of the game with an injury, Brian Plotkin. And it was almost like our young team said, oh, Plotty's not here, gosh, we better sit back, and we lost momentum. And I credit Rutgers because they really came on strong and outplayed us for a good portion of the second half, just as we outplayed them in the first half. Then we gave them a goal, and one of our fine freshmen, Jed Zahner, just turned to play a ball back to a defender and mistakenly played it right to their attacker, and he finished it off. But then our guys, it was almost like a wake-up call and a character builder because we rose to the occasion and everybody notched it up. And in the closing 8-9 minutes after they scored, we not only should have had one to tie, but I felt there were a couple others that we could have had to win. So I told the guys that's the character trait that I'm going to remember from this game, that this group is not a quitter. I've had some teams and seen some teams, when you go down late in the game with a mistake, giving up pretty much an own goal, the teams just fold their tents. and they're done, and they'll give up a couple more. And I was very pleased.
Let's take a few moments, if we can, and courtesy of your sports information department down in Bloomington, we've got some numbers and some facts, and they're mind-boggling. This is your 31st and final year coming up as the head coach on the varsity level. You coached 10 years before that at the club level. You have an overall record of 527 wins, 98 losses, 40 ties. That is an 82% winning percentage. You are second all-time in wins, 17 behind, and I hope I pronounce it correctly, Stephen
Negoesco.
Negoesco. I knew I'd botch it up, from University of San Francisco. You have won 5 national championships, and that is tied for first with Virginia all-time. You have made 15 College Cup appearances. That is first. UCLA is second with 9 appearances. You have 63 NCAA tournament victories. That is first. UCLA second with 45. You have made 27 NCAA tournament appearances. That is first all-time. St. Louis and UCLA are tied at 26. Your NCAA tournament winning percentage of 74%, 63 and 22 is first all-time. Your overall winning percentage of 82%, first all-time. 30 winning seasons, that's tied for first with UCLA and Clemson. You have a 46-match unbeaten streak, which is an NCAA record. You've had 17 NCAA top 5 rankings, that's first all-time. You have had 20 first-team All-Americans, that's second to Virginia's 21. You've had 5 Herman Trophy winners for outstanding player in the country. You've won 9 Big Ten championships. Penn State is behind in second place with 2. You've won 92% of your Big Ten conference matches, 57, 4, and 2. From October of 1995 until the 2000 Big Ten tournament, you had a 38-game unbeaten string, 36, 0, and 2. That's second longest in NCAA history. You have been the Big Ten Coach of the Year 7 times, the National Coach of the Year 5 times. That's quite an impressive resume.
I'll tell you what, you hang around long enough, anything can happen. And I've been here a long time, so it's been a wonderful ride for me. And I need to give so much credit to the university, because Indiana University has given the program all the support with facilities, everything we've needed to be the premier program in the country. And without that, we wouldn't have had a chance. Being there on this ride, and again, the 10 years before we became varsity, from 63 to 73, those are 10 of the most important years in my growth as a coach, because nothing was done for us as a club. You had to do everything, drive your own car, line your own fields. My wife's changing the diaper of our daughter while the players in the back are riding along with us. I mean, you don't take anything for granted, and you realize all the details that go into being a successful program. And we've kept some of those club traditions, and I think it's part of the reason our players appreciate the history of the program and the tradition and feel the pride in the uniform. And when they take the field, they don't hope to win, they expect to win. And that's what we want to remember in the future as well.
How has collegiate soccer changed in the 30-plus years you've been with IU?
Oh, it's changed tremendously. The parity that's come to the game. There's so many good teams now capable of challenging for the national championship, whereas, 10, 15 years ago, maybe there's a handful or 10. The competition within conferences, the emergence of the conference, has been a wonderful, wonderful addition to the soccer game, because now at the college level, conference commissioners, athletic directors, they want to win in conference, and they give the coaches the kind of support that's needed. So the advent of the conferences, there are 22 conferences now. I'm proud that the Big Ten has risen to number 3. Our rating is number 3 among the 22. We're behind the Pac-10 and the Atlantic Coast, and we're chasing them pretty good. So those are some of the things. And I think also the great growth of women's soccer has helped men's soccer and collegiate soccer for both men and women. They've gotten great facilities. Gender equity has provided opportunities for the game to grow, and the men's program has benefited as well as the women's. So those are some of the changes. I think also in terms of the playing, there were always great players. we still have great players, but the average player's level is much higher today. And I think that's a credit to the youth coaching, to the competition that they get out there. I mean, you see the youth teams here at the tournament on the Hefner Fields, and some of these kids have been playing since they're 5, 6 years old with good coaching on good fields and good competition. And that's making not only the youth game better, but the high school and the college game. Media attention that the sport is getting. I think the college game is at the best, the healthiest it's ever been, providing a lot of players for the professional league, for the MLS, where at first they said, you're wasting your time in college, guys. Get out and go pro. Now they're looking at the rosters of the MLS teams and saying, hey, those kids cut their teeth in college. They played their soccer at college, and they're prime players in the MLS. So college soccer has become much more accepted and much more respected.
You've got one final year in Bloomington, at least that we know of. What do you hope to accomplish this final year?
You know, every day I go out to training, whether it's training or a game, and I just try to get the most out of every moment. This team is a coach's dream. They're like sponges. They're youthful. We have a very young team, only 3 seniors, and they just want to soak up everything that the coaches ask. There are no high-maintenance kids. There are none with egos. It's the we team approach, not the I approach, and that makes it so much more enjoyable. And so I'm having fun every day. I've learned a long time ago that you know, the rewards, I want to win. I'm as competitive as ever, and I want to have a great season, and our goals haven't changed this year. We want to have a winning season. We want to win the Big Ten. We want a top national ranking. We want to get into the NCAA tournament. We want to get to that Final Four. And if we do, anything can happen. We'll go for that pot of gold, and those are our goals every year, whether we're freshman-laden or whether we're all seniors. It's going to be a challenge. A lot of people say, well, Coach, why are you retiring now with 17, 18 wins to go to set the all-time record? If that were my motivation, I would have not retired at this time. But that is not. I'm very, very proud of what we've accomplished. Probably what I'm most proud of is our consistency, our winning record in terms of percentage, the 82, 83% that we've been. Our tradition has been excellent over the full time. I wouldn't have left the program if I didn't feel good about who's going to be coaching. Mike Freitag is like a younger brother to me. He was an All-American there. He's a great coach in his own out in Colorado, and he's come back, and he'll do a wonderful job leading the program. And I also have an extra bonus my final year. My son Todd, who just completed 8 years with the MLS at the Columbus Crew, has joined our staff, and he's got the fire and the passion, and it thrills me to see him so excited about it. And those are two of the main reasons that I just say, hey, it's going to be in great hands. And I'm going to be a junkie in the stands. I mean, I'm going to be following the team wherever they go. I'll be yelling at the refs and talking to the alums and telling them how great their teams were. But I'm looking forward to it.
2 questions left. One, and I know this is a loaded one. Is there one either special player, special game, special something that stands out over 30-plus years at IU?
There have been so many, and I would get killed by each team if I said one team was better than the other or one player. We've had so many great players and so many great teams, and the moments each year have been special. And I'll remember each season. And I can tell you games, I can tell you things that happen in games that, I might not remember my birthday, but I can remember some, who scored a goal in the 80th minute 20 years ago. So those memories are going to stay with me forever.
Final question is a request from our own Terry Stefankowitz. Last night you were honored both here at the Hefner Fields at halftime of the Ohio State North Carolina women's game, and there's going to be a nice plaque which I'm anxious to see in place at some point. But there was a little get-together afterwards, and Coach asked me to ask you what your thoughts were of last night's roast.
Oh, it was a special night. Terry was again the driving force behind this, along with some of the other alums. But they roasted me for 2 hours, and some of the stories, I mean, past coaches, Don Ross and Bill Ross, Terry, others, just, oh, it was wonderful. And parents were there, players, alums came from all over, and it was a wonderful evening. It brought tears to my eyes, and I don't do that very often, but it touched me deeply, just as, you know, the award did here. I mean, to have my name on the plaque at this facility, to be recognized as part of this event, that is very, very humbling and rewarding for me. And I'm going to come back for years as a spectator.
On behalf of all of us at College 56 Sports and Mastodon Spotlight, and I feel I can say for IPFW and for soccer fans in Fort Wayne, thank you for all your contributions to the game of soccer. Thank you for helping to get the soccer showcase off and running, and Lord's blessings to you as you finish your career at IU and time beyond.
Thank you very much.
We've been speaking with the soon-to-be retiring head coach of Indiana University men's soccer, Jerry Yeagley. We'll take a break and come back with more of Mastodon Spotlight in just a moment. Welcome back to Mastodon Spotlight. We sure hope you enjoyed our visits with Jerry Yeagley and with Terry Stefankowitz. Jerry Yeagley, a class act all the way, as is Terry. Now, what's ahead next week? We're going to switch sports a little bit. 3 interviews that you're going to see. 2 are senior retrospectives. 1 will be with the women's volleyball team. There were 3 seniors, Nicole Ray, Kirsta Solberg, and Sarah Leffers. And you'll hear some comments from head coach Kelly Hartley about those 3. And we will, on the other side, we'll have head coach Bruce Patterson talking about his 2 seniors from the women's basketball team. They are Amy Geralds and Katie Bruning. And in the middle will be a short interview that we had the opportunity to do back in November when one Dick Vitale came here at IPFW. He talked at a pep rally here at the Gate Sports Center, talked to the crowd prior to the start of the season opening game with the University of Toledo, and he was kind enough to give us the better part of 4 minutes to talk a little bit, and we'll show you that interview as well as the retrospectives for women's basketball and volleyball. That's on next week's show. And until next week, for our good friends at Ryan Steakhouse, sponsors of Mastodon Spotlight, this is Mike Maas saying, have a great week and go Dons. Hi everybody, I'm Mike Maas. Welcome to Mastodon Spotlight, sponsored in part by our good friends over at Ryan Steakhouse, located on North Clinton Street across from Scott's Foods. Stop in sometime, say hi to David Kennedy and his staff, and be sure to thank Dave for helping to support IPFW Athletics here on Channel 56. Again, we're going to show you some interesting things this week on Mastodon Spotlight, and on the menu, 2 senior retrospectives. 1 will involve women's volleyball. 3 gals graduated this past season. They were Nicole Ray from Northside High School, Sarah Leffers from Southside High School, and Kirsta Solberg from the state of Ohio. And in a few moments, you will hear head coach Kelly Hartley talk about what it was like dealing with those 3 women for 4 years. Then after that interview, we're going to bring you a special interview that we did with Dick Vitale. Dick was here back in November for the homecoming basketball game against the University of Toledo, and he was kind enough to give us the better part of 4 minutes, and we're going to replay that interview. And then following that interview, you will hear a senior retrospective regarding women's basketball. And head coach Bruce Patterson will talk about what it was like for his time here working with Katie Bruning from Northside High School, and Amy Geralds, who finished her career as the third leading scorer of all time, scoring 1,588 points here at IPFW. Katie from the Beech Grove High School near Indianapolis. So that's the menu this week. After this short break, first up, a look back at women's volleyball, followed by a Dick Vitale interview, and then women's basketball look back. Again, for our friends at Ryan Steakhouse, we thank you for tuning in. Continue to stay tuned. The interviews are coming up next, right here on College 56 Sports.
I came to play at IPFW as a walk-on at first because a friend of mine who was a men's assistant coach told me that I should go talk to Kelly Hartley because they had another spot on the team and he thought I would be able to fill that for them.
I really didn't hear about IPFW. I didn't ever hear of it until really late. Coach started recruiting me kind of like February, my senior year, January or February. And I just, on the phone, she was really easy to talk to, and I was just really interested in taking a visit. So I came to the school, and I really liked it. So that's how I ended up here. And I really enjoyed playing here so far. I'm really glad I chose to come here.
I've been Fort Wayne my whole life, so coming to IPFW wasn't my first decision. But it made it a lot easier. I was closer to home with my family, and I think it's probably one of the best decisions I ever made. Playing here has given me a lot of opportunities.
Well, interesting story about Nicole Ray, Coco, as I call her, nickname. I think that probably started in high school. Don't even know what it really means, but I think it fits her. We didn't recruit Coco. She was a freshman here, a student. Dave Schmidlin, who at the time was Arnie Ball's assistant, told me, you really should look at her as a DS. She's better than some of the kids you have right now on your team as far as defensively and passing the ball. She can play. So she started practicing with us and played all spring ball with us, and she's a great athlete. She's a good volleyball player, but she is a really good athlete. She's the body type that when she trains, she's very, very fit. She's only about 5'6", but I'll tell you, if she was a couple more inches taller, she'd probably be an outside hitter for us. She gets up and bangs the ball too. Kirsta Solberg, we recruited her. She was someone that I heard about late in the recruiting process from a friend of mine who had done camps at her high school and thought a lot of her. I saw her play once in club, got a tape, and thought a lot of her athletic ability. Now the important thing I think to remember about Kirsta, she started as a freshman for us in the middle. She's played outside, left outside, and then this year primarily she's played right side. The only position she has not played for this team is setter. She reminds me of that daily and really wants that opportunity with 4 matches left to go in her career, and I'm sure she'd do fine. Sarah Leffers is a very unique individual. She's very articulate. She's going to do very well in whatever she chooses to do in life. She can flat out handle the ball, and this team, Fabiana Souza gets a lot of credit for our team because she puts the ball away. The fact is, and Sarah and I know this, Nicole and Ray and I know this, that we're not going to be able to run an offense unless we can pass the ball to target and play backcourt defense. Sarah Leffers and Nicole Ray deserve a lot of credit. Kirsta too. Kirsta is a primary passer as well.
We're very privileged. We got to go to Brazil, California, Texas, just travel since we were younger. I mean, volleyball has just brought so much into our lives, and especially in the college level, we got to experience so much more with it.
I definitely think that Brazil trip was a great opportunity for us. I mean, how many times were we ever able to go to Brazil, South America in our lives outside of volleyball? I don't think I probably ever would have gone there outside of volleyball, and it was just a great experience, and just be able to say you went there and you played against some really good teams. They were very competitive down there, and it was just something that I'm going to carry with me forever.
It's been great, like being able to meet, especially these two I've been with for the past 4 years, and even the people on our team that are younger than us and older. I don't know. You just meet some people that are going to be in your lives forever.
It's important for fans, everybody, to recognize that these three athletes, we recruited partial type scholarships. One is a walk-on when we were Division II and didn't know we were going to Division I. And now all three of them are starters on a very good Division I team. And I think that says a lot about their work ethic and their ability as athletes to improve daily, to take practice seriously and use that as an opportunity to get better and train physically so they're in the best shape as possible. And we're also talking about three excellent students, very intelligent, mature young ladies who just want to be the best at everything they do. I really look at these seniors, I mean, I have a lot of gratitude for what they've done for our program because they made what really could have been a very, very difficult transition from Division II to Division I. It could have been a very difficult transition. They just eased us that pain a little bit. The first 2 years of Division I competition, we were one match away each of those years from being a 500 team. And then this year, of course, we're well over that mark right now at 19-9 with 4 matches to play. I think they inspired their younger players to show up in season. I know they did. We're not permitted as coaches to organize or make summer workouts mandatory, so it's vital that you have older kids who are committed to those programs so that in August they're ready to play. And they inspired those younger players to be there and work hard while they were there.
Most of the great experiences I've had in my life have been because of volleyball. Like, I was in that place because I was there for volleyball, or met that person through volleyball.
That personal aspect of being on a team and being in college is a great experience. You do take those with you for the rest of your life, and you know they're going to be there for you because you've been through so much. You're together every day, sometimes twice a day, on the road, in hotels. So you experience a lot together, and those personal experiences that you have with each other are going to last forever.
Kirsta Solberg is a 4-point student. She's extremely intelligent. She's a graphic art major, very, very talented, and very creative. I've seen some of her projects, and it just blows me away. And she's someone, I think, who thinks about the game a little bit differently. And at times, like, some of her questions, I've really respected her because she's challenged me as a coach because she asks intelligent questions and thinks outside the box. Nicole Ray is a fierce competitor. She's not somebody you'd want to make angry and then meet her outside. I wouldn't. I know I'd lose. She's a very tough young lady. And yeah, she's cute and she puts a smile on her face and you think she's probably sweet as pie. I wouldn't make her mad. And that's what makes her so good. She's just so competitive and fiery, and our younger athletes, I think, respect her for that and respond to it. We're better on the court. Our team is better when she's on the court for that reason. Well, Sarah Leffers is a communications major and oftentimes the spokesperson for the team. In fact, when they have a special favor to ask of me or something they feel I need to know, usually it's Sarah Leffers and Coco, maybe Kirsta too, who come up to my office and state their case for a couple of reasons. I think that Sarah Leffers, again, she articulates ideas very well. And also they probably know that it's at times difficult for me to say no to those three because they've done everything this program has asked them to do and more. Three seniors have been a real joy to coach, and I've learned a lot about myself as a coach too, that many times with young student athletes, young women who are already very, very hard on themselves, with very high expectations academically and as athletes, you oftentimes don't need to push and push and push them. They're already pushing themselves and each other. You oftentimes have to learn to step back and be a friend and just be positive.
I just want to say thank you to the people I've been able to play with, especially the alumni, Tammy, Laura, Chrissy, Deanna, Amy, for kicking our butts for a couple years, getting us to where we are now, and also the players we've played with this year.
For 25 years, he's been the lead analyst on basketball telecasts for ESPN and ABC Sports. And he's here in Fort Wayne to address IPFW. We welcome to Fort Wayne Dick Vitale.
Well, it's great being here. I tell you, I appreciate all the unbelievable spirit and the passion of the athletic director, Mark Pope. Certainly, when you talk about the coach, I think Doug Knoll and his people are working so diligently to bring the people here a quality program. Beautiful facility now, playing at the Coliseum. I think the teams they're bringing in are special, so I really hope that the fans really respond and come out. And the one thing about basketball, IPFW gets one great player could change the whole complexion. And I think they should get in a league. I write on my website at ESPN. I challenge the people in Horizon League and the Mid-Continent to give them an opportunity to play in their conference.
What is it about college athletics in general and college basketball in particular that excites Dick Vitale?
Well, I get excited because around young people, I'm 64 years of age and I act about 12. And I wrote about that, as you know, in my new book. I did a book signing right here a few minutes ago, and we had several hundred books that we sold. But in my book, which takes 25 years on ESPN and what I've done and some of the stories about my travels and different players that I've observed, and I had such a great time. But in that, I share what you just asked. I'm 64 and I act about 12.
The state of college athletics, or college basketball I should say, on the court last year was great. Off the court, problems. If you were the commissioner of college basketball, what would you do to change the sport?
Well, you know, I addressed all those issues in my book about the problems. You're talking about Baylor and Georgia and Fresno State and St. Bonaventure. The problem is very simple. I think we got to do a better process of evaluating student athletes to get them on a campus. I think the one common denominator, as I write in a book, in all the situations where there was a dilemma, you had many times kids that never proved that they belonged to be in college. They never did the job academically, didn't do the things it takes to win in life. And to me, any youngster that's watching, just remember this. Have a passion and love for what you're doing. Make certain that you make good decisions in your personal life about drugs, alcohol, and also make sure you have work ethic. And if you follow those three elements in your life, you'll have a W, a win in the game of life. And never forget to say to mom, dad, your guardian, your coach, whoever has taken care of you, whoever gives a darn about you, the magical words, I love you.
What final words of advice can you give to Mark Pope and Doug Knoll as they try to establish this program here at IPFW?
Well, I just told Mark Pope a little while earlier I was going to get him a game with North Carolina. I mean, let's play the East. Doesn't play anybody anywhere. I think that Mark Pope and Doug Knoll are doing it the right way. They're playing an ambitious schedule. They're trying to play the best they can play, and they're sending a message loud and clear to the conference commissioners that we want to be affiliated with a conference. It will happen. I know what they're doing is right. They got a good leader, a solid guy in Doug Knoll, and I believe that when you're in the state of Indiana, where basketball is a way of life, they will get the necessary support, eventually get the kind of players that it takes to win at the level they're playing.
Thanks for giving us a little bit of your time. Continued success, and thanks for coming into Fort Wayne.
Man, I hope I have another 25 years, man. And tell the Hoosiers, come on up here. Tell Mike Davis, bring his club to play IPFW. Gene Cady, he has him going down to Purdue. He's got to come up here.
That's Dick Vitale from ESPN and ABC Sports. We'll take a break and come back with more in just a moment.
I like the challenge, I like the competition. I like having to go out there every night and having to prove yourself against every team. As a freshman, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. I ended up coming here to go to school, and I was going to play basketball originally and softball, but then a lot of things happened, didn't work out, and so I just decided not to play anything. So I just went to school for a year, and then I ended up within maybe 2 months within starting school here. I had already started talking to Coach Patterson. He was at St. Francis, and I was going to go this semester. Already in my first year, I already go over there and play, but then I decided just to wait, stay the whole year here, and then I went over there, played basketball and softball for a year and a half, and then they had left after my first year, and then I decided things weren't working out over there anymore like I wanted them to, so I came back here and then played basketball, softball here ever since. So I think it's been kind of a strange path, but it's worked out for me. I'm happy now.
Going to Division One was a big step. It really surprised me how different the level was at Division One. It really took me by surprise because we were on the verge of being a very powerful and strong Division II team, and then all of a sudden going up to Division I. And it was a big shock for me. I wasn't expecting it to be that big of a change, but it really was. Since my first year here, the team has progressed by becoming more a team. My first couple years here, everyone was more individuals and not playing as a team. We all get along and we try to do a lot of things together outside of basketball, and I think that helps a team being a team outside of basketball.
4 or 5 years from now, when we're winning a lot of basketball games and hopefully getting our chance to get in the NCAA tournament, you'll look at those players that are here and you'll have a tendency to give them all the credit. And quite frankly, I believe programs can't have a present or a future unless they have a past. And this program's past is going to be kids like Maggie and Amy. In many ways, they're the same. I mean, Maggie is a tenacious bulldog, and Amy is too. I think they may display it a little differently, or at least their facial expressions give a different opinion of what's happening. But they both like to win. They both are very determined athletes when they're on the court. So I'd say there's a lot of similarities there. From a style of play, they even have their similarities there. They're both huge risk takers. Maggie will get into my doghouse on occasion, has over the number of years she's played for me, because she takes substantial risks with the basketball. And sometimes, quite frankly, in some environments she would be able to get away with it. But when you're building a D1 program, sometimes you don't have kids that can catch up with what she's doing. And so she's the one that gets in trouble for it. I'm not sure that's fair. It's just a fact of life, you know. And so I think they do display much of the same personality traits in their desire to win, their desire to gamble, their ability to take risk, even though sometimes when they take that risk, they know they're going to get some flack from me if it's not successful.
I've always wanted to play Division I, and getting that chance and that opportunity to see if I could compete at that level has been something that I've really enjoyed.
Amy's going to go down in my opinion, in history as kind of the Miss Division I. I mean, she really was the pillar that we built the beginning parts of this Division I program around. I think she had, it was almost unfair to ask anybody to do what she did, and because in the first year, you probably recall there wasn't a lot of Division I talent here at the time, and we went through a very lean year, lean in number of wins, and that we won 3 NCAA Division I games, actually won 4, but one of them won the D1 team. And you know, it was a struggle because we got our hat handed to us on a number of occasions. But she endured through that, and that was tough. She may be the best three-point shooter that I've been around in a long time. When she gets hot, she can stroke it from anywhere at any time. But take away all of her basketball talents, one, she likes to win and she is a competitor. And I think that's what she'll be remembered for by the coaching staff, I know. I hope the players or the other people around the program understand that too, because frankly, she's a kid that if she had another year of eligibility left on her clock, it would have probably been best for her to have surgery this year on an injury that she has and take this year, but she couldn't because she had already taken a redshirt year. She is just a tough competitor because that shoulder that she has bugs her all the time.
I injured my left shoulder last season in Detroit at the University of Detroit Mercy. I was diving after a ball and the bleachers got the best of me, I can say that. I separated my left shoulder and fractured a cheekbone, but the shoulder has still given me some problems. And I was pretty iffy about this season. I didn't want my last year playing to be something that I was going to regret or wasn't going to be able to accomplish what I wanted to accomplish and do what I wanted to do on the floor. First couple games I was real hesitant on doing things, and then I thought to myself, I can't do this. I'm letting myself down, I'm letting the team down, and I need to do something about it. So from now on, I go out there and I don't care right now. That's not like a bad attitude to have. I just think that if I do something, it's better to do something in a game where it's going to end my career than to do something stupid outside of basketball. So I go in every game just thinking I don't have a problem. Everything's fine and I'm going to make it. I just try not to think about it and try to do what I can do, and if it hurts, and just go through the pain.
The high point, in my point of view, is definitely getting to play Division I. That's a big deal considering before that I played at NIIA, and it's a totally different level. And just getting to go and play all these schools that you see on TV playing, and you've heard of all these big schools, and then you actually get to go there and play, and you get to play against all these teams that you never imagined that you'd get to play against. And it's just a great experience, and to know that, we're just as good. We're from Fort Wayne, it's just a small city and nobody's heard of us, but we go and play and we can stick with all these teams. So I think that's just an overall great thing. Since last year we've made so many improvements, and I think it's just shown how we've played. We've been in just about every game and we've been close, and everybody's playing more to their potential every game, and everybody's just stepping up, and I think you can really see that on the court. I'm majoring in sociology, and hopefully, if everything works out this semester, I'll graduate in May, and I'm going to get my certificate in Peace and Conflict Studies.
Maggie will succeed at anything she does. She is a very smart kid, holds a great GPA, so it doesn't matter exactly what Maggie does. She will be very good at it. I have no question about that.
I'm majoring in elementary education with an endorsement in kindergarten and a minor in special ed.
She had a perfect 4.0 this last semester, which we really think is pretty outstanding also.
My best friends are on the team, and I think part of that's because we are together so much every day. We practice together, we have games, travel, everything, we're together. And I know that, especially with me and Amy, when I know she's on the court with me, I look at her, I can say anything I want to her on the court, and she knows I will. And I know we're still going to be friends afterwards.
I really do think that there are a few people on this team that I will stay in contact for the rest of my life. I know Maggie, for one, is one that I know that we'll always have a friendship, and I don't even know her that well, haven't known her that long, but we have, I think, probably one of the strongest friendships I've had in my life, and it says a lot because basketball is a main part of my life right now, and with her there, she's helped me throughout a lot, and I know I've tried to help her through some things, and there's a few other on the team that I know that I'll stay in contact with
Okay, we just want to say goodbye to all of our teammates and our coaches and our fans, friends, family, everybody, and thanks for a great time here at IPFW, and we'll miss everybody.
Miss you.
Bye.
Thanks for supporting us.
Represent.